Hello, and welcome to Barovia. I am your humble master of dungeons, and keeper of dragons Pixel, and I am pleased to present to you the 17th episode of Ages of Ainur presents Curse of Strahd. Yo, what's up everybody? As always, we're going to get into the game here in just a few minutes, but before we do, we're going to go over our usual housekeeping stuff. I'm going to try to keep it extra brief today, because if you're here, you've probably heard it before. First things first, when you're looking at maps, don't spoil stuff. You'll see GM things. They'll be kind of halfway faded out, or they'll be behind walls the players can't see. Don't talk about it in chat. Players are in chat. They might see that stuff. Try not to spoil it. Secondly, there's a lot of rules to this game. We're going to screw stuff up. Don't lose your mind about it, or I will find you in real life. That's not true, but I will be sad, and please don't make me sad. Thirdly, don't be a dick. We want to keep this place open and welcoming to the extent that we can, so if you suck, you're not welcome here. If you're mean to people and you're not nice about things, including our players and how well they know the game, or things we change in the adventure, or really anything about them as people, don't do that. We don't like it. Stop. None of you ever have, but don't you dare. Fourthly, this adventure is horror themed. There are things that may be unpleasant or disturbing. We're not setting out to be overly graphic, but we do want to caution you guys. It's a horror campaign, so consider it like you're watching a horror movie and expect those kinds of things to happen. If you have concerns about those types of things, we do try to put spoiler warnings, and not spoiler warnings. We do try to put content warnings in our YouTube posts, and so, but in the context of the live game, almost impossible for us to front load you with what's coming because we don't know what's coming all the time. It's improvisational. So just be aware of that. But we will give the caveat, there will be no depictions of graphic sexual content or violence of any kind in that regard. So if that's a concern, you don't have to worry about that. Fifthly, this adventure has some problematic depictions of people based on travelers or Romani people IRL. I've done my best to look for resources to sort of alter those depictions to be less of an offensive stereotype. Hopefully I've done my best, but we do just kind of want to give that caveat. And then a reminder, we do release the show on YouTube and as a podcast the following week. So if you are a $5 tier Patreon subscriber, you can get access to it on Sundays after it airs, so that is pretty early. If not, it goes up live on Wednesdays, and then we play the game the following Friday. So not Friday, but the week after, giving you plenty of time if you want to get caught up for the next week if you want to watch live. And then real quick update for everybody on the OGL stuff, which is that there has been an update to all of that. They're saying that they're releasing the core rules to the game under a Creative Commons license, which technically doesn't really mean a whole lot because other than just an assurance that people won't get sued, doesn't really mean a whole lot because according to like copyright law, they can't actually copyright the mechanics of a game. That's how come you can get things like Scrabble and Words with Friends can exist and they can't sue each other about it. That's a whole conversation for another time. There's a really great video by Legal Eagle on YouTube over on that featuring our favorite one of our favorite D&D creators, Matt Colville. I highly recommend you check that out if you have questions about this whole OGL business. Functionally speaking, what that means for us is we should still be in the clear to stream this campaign and our other campaigns of D&D in the future. However, I am still committed to learning new systems and to teaching people new systems. With that in mind, we are going to try to spin up a secondary stream. I don't know if it'll happen on the Bonus Mom channel or if it'll happen on this channel and exactly what day it'll happen, but we are going to try to spin up a stream where we show you guys how to play other games, where we just do like mechanics. So the first thing we've got on deck, I'm going to be teaching people how to make characters for Stars Without Number, which is kind of a sci-fi space based game. Similar enough to D&D that I think will be okay with people understanding what it is, but that way you guys can watch that, learn how those characters get made, and if the game interests you, then you can maybe check it out. And then moving on from that, we'll show folks how combat works in that game. And then eventually, if I have room on stream, we'll try to actually run a brief campaign of it. And that's sort of my commitment, is to try to run some new systems and show you guys how those things work so that it's less intimidating and you can kind of pick those things up and not feel like, oh my god, I got to read 1,000,000 pages of a book and I got to, do all this stuff to learn, that you can kind of learn it the same way you learn D&D from us, hopefully, which is just to watch us play it and enjoy it. So that is all of the brief stuff about the OGL. And then, of course, last thing before we get started, as always, Cass, if you could please go around and introduce yourselves and your characters, as well as where we can find you on the interwebs, and whether or not you have chat inspiration, starting with, of course, Vincent Page.
Howdy, folks. Yeah, I'm Vincent Page, and you actually find me everywhere on the internet at Vincent Page. But primarily, we do the Twitch thing every day. And I'm playing Ash Fireforge, the Changeling Rogue, who does currently have chat inspiration.
Beautiful. Well done. Never been a better introduction.
You're right.
100 out of 100. The best there's ever been. And truly, we love to see it. Omega. I almost called you Onyx. There it was. It's already started, friends.
Yep. Hey, y'all. My name is Omega. I am playing Onyx Montarch, and I currently do have chat inspiration.
Wonderful. And, of course, Ozzy.
I'm Ozzy. I'm Cass Amblecrown, an Ancient's Paladin, and I do not have chat inspiration.
Excellent. And, of course, Bonus Mom.
Hi, I'm Bonus Mom, and I'm playing Wanderess, the Circle of Stars Druid, and I am on TikTok Monday through Fridays in the morning hours, and I'm a podcaster, and I sometimes hang out on Twitch, and here I am on Ages of Einor playing D&D, but I also am committed to trying new games and new fun things to do, so I hope to see what it is that Pixel has to offer, and I am interested.
Excellent. And of course,
I have chat inspiration.
Yep. Almost forgot to let you get that out. I'm Pixel, and I will be your dungeon master or game master this evening. I will be playing everyone from the delightful young boy Yeska to the horrible vampire trying to eat everyone's face. And I do that for most of our D&D streams, and they're in the future TTRPG streams here at Ages of Einor, although we're hoping also to expand our repertoire of other people maybe participating as GMs and stuff like that. And then the other thing that I gotta say is I'm Hammer and Pixel here on Twitch. So I stream video games over there, and we talk about games and philosophy and criticism and a bunch of stuff, as well as we just play stupid games. I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order. That's been fun. We just finished a run of KOTOR. And then I also have one last thing to say, which is that we don't know exactly when the thing where we'll be kind of teaching people new mechanics is going to start, but I think it will, cross fingers, start looking for like the first week of February, something like that. So hopefully before the end of February, we will get that up and running and have a sense of when we are going to do it. One thing that may play into effect, we do have like D&D conversations in our Discord on Tuesday nights at, 7 p.m.
Around 7 p.m. Eastern time.
So if you want to have input on that thing, I think our next session we're going to talk about our plans for it and other systems and other games and the OGL thing and all of that. So lots to talk about there.
Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday, which will be the 24th of January. Is the plan. So if you'd like to have input into that discussion, please come hang out on that if you can. Otherwise, Pixel didn't tell us this. He has chat so I don't listen. I don't need chat inspiration, baby.
Oh God.
Pixel can give himself inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I gotta tell you, I inspired myself last session when I turned Ash into a rat and flung him through a magic circle. So I'm riding high, baby. Anyway, so if you want input into that process, hit up our Discord. You can be in that chat, or you can just come talk to us about it. Either way will work. And of course, without further ado, when last we left our heroes, after waking in the middle of the night to the sound of shattered glass in Arena and Ismark's room, our heroes had rushed in and fought the foul vampire spawn sent to attack Arena. And surprisingly, they slayed it. After the commotion, the inn owners, Erwin and Danica Mardukov, approached the heroes and revealed that they are members of the Keepers of the Feather, a secret clan of were-ravens who exist in Barovia and oppose Strahd. And Erwin revealed this, of course, when he turned into a raven to check on the surroundings of the inn. After discovering that no great flood of undead were about to overcome the inn and that whatever Strahd was up to, capturing Arena seemed to be an ancillary objective, the heroes discussed what to do. They saw that the flames and commotion were coming from the direction of the Church of St. Andrel, and reluctantly decided to investigate to see what was going on. They left Arena and Ismark in the care of the Keepers of the Feather, and Erwin Mardukov flew off into the night to attempt to infiltrate, to the extent that it was safe, the home of the coffin maker, who had been revealed to have the bones of St. Andrel, which for long years had lain in rest, sanctified, and keeping the church safe from Strahd. When they arrived at the church of St. Andrel, our heroes discovered the great nightmare. Strahd himself stood atop the roof of the old church as it burned, shouting to the citizens of Vallaki to mock their belief that there was anywhere in Barovia that he, its rightful lord, could not go. He mocked them for thinking their walls, built of the wood of his own Svalich woods, could keep him out. He mocked them for thinking their pitiful church, blessed by gods long since departed from this realm, could bar his entry. He mocked them for their festivals and diversions, having found them amusing for a time, but shouted to all who could hear that the time was now long since past, and he put a stop to their disrespect in believing that there was any place in all Barovia he could not tread if he wished. He then dropped off the roof and entered the burning church. Ash and Onyx decided to creep up to the door of the church to see what was happening inside, finding several vampire spawn surrounding a magic circle in which Rictavio and 10 villagers, including Father Lucian, Milivaj, and Yeska, were huddled in fear as the surrounding room looked like a butchery. Blood bathed much of the walls and floor, splashed from villagers, upon which vampire spawn were still feeding. Ash was seen by Strahd as he and Onyx approached. Strahd attempted a spell on Ash, but Ash resisted, kicking off combat with you could call them heroes, I guess. In the second turn of combat, Strahd mocked all gathered as little more than rats to him, as he turned Ash into a rat via polymorph and used his mage hand to grab the creature and bring it to him. As the battle progressed, he continued to make light of all those he was torturing as little more than amusing pets, despite being rats to him, and said that he grew tired of playing with them. He threw Ash with superhuman strength, Rat Ash, towards the magic circle and released his polymorph just before Ash crossed into the circle, causing Ash to revert to their normal human form, or humanoid, I should say, before slamming into the group and pushing several unfortunate villagers out of the protection of the magic circle and in to danger, including Milivaj. Of the several villagers who were pushed out, Milivaj and one other were killed by the vampire spawn. Our heroes desperately tried to protect the villagers and fight Strahd with the help of Father Lucian and Rictavio, but even though they are many times stronger than they were when they were helpless against him in the village of Barovia, they still found that gap in power too great. Strahd eventually killed Father Lucian before making his way to one of the broken windows with his vampire spawn and leaving the remaining survivors. Our heroes conversed with the remaining survivors, including Rictavio, who stated that he could no longer remain in Vallaki now that his cover was blown, but that he would be happy to speak with Ash and the others more at his tower to the west of the city near Lake Baratok. He took the remaining villagers with him to disperse into the city to hide before he left. Erwin Mardukov, who had been sent to retrieve bones from the coffin maker's house, if possible, returned with them, having seized them in a fortuitous moment when the vampires were all at the church, and having missed Strahd on their return trip to pick up the bones in the first place. It was with this that it was decided that Cass would try to reconsecrate the church and protect it once more, even though it is burned and broken. As they prepared for the ritual, it seems the vampire spawn realized the bones had been taken and sent one of their own to retrieve them. And that is where we resume our tale, as one round of this combat has finished. Cass is in the corner behind the altar, trying desperately to make DC 15 religion checks to reconsecrate the bones, as Yeska cowers in the remains of the magic circle, which is still active as an hour has not yet passed since Rictavio cast it. And our other heroes have engaged in combat with the vampire spawn, and endeavor to keep it from interrupting Cass's ritual. And so we begin at the top of initiative. Ash, the spawn is just behind you on its way to try to get to the bones. And Cass, what would you like to do?
Well, first thing I would like to do is say, hero, maybe, okay? I take offense to that. Next off, we're going to move in front of this guy.
Okay.
I'd like front here, not leaving range to provoke an attack of opportunity. Let's see here. I'm learning this character slowly but surely. I'm going to go for a insightful fighting check.
Okay. That is deception versus your insight.
Correct.
So...
17 on the insight.
The vampire's deception check is an 8.
Woo,
so
let's
you
go.
look at this vampire and you can see that its overwhelming intention is to get to Ash by all means necessary, and that there will be several openings that it will leave as a result of its basically plans to mostly try to ignore you if it can, granting you advantage for, what is it, a minute? So...
Is that what it gives me?
Yeah, it gives you advantage on your attack rolls. Or maybe it just lets you use your sneak attack.
Lasts for 1 minute or until you... Yeah, okay, yeah. No, it's a... you can use your sneak attack against target even if you don't have advantage on the attack roll. Okay. I didn't realize it was timed is all. I never paid attention. Okay.
I mean, most combats don't last 10 rounds, so it usually doesn't come up, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so you've used your bonus action to Insightful Fighting. Go ahead and let her rip.
Trying to decide if I want to try to grapple this thing.
Could be good. It would make its speed 0 if you could pull it off, but you're going to have to do opposed athletics versus its athletics or acrobatics. You know, these things are pretty strong and pretty fast, but it could be a good boon if you can stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because like it makes sense to me where if we used insightful fighting, and obviously we know that it's gonna beeline straight for cast, then we want to stop it. That's our main goal. I'm gonna try it. I think we're gonna try athletics.
Okay, so you're gonna make an athletics check, and it is going to make an athletics check because its mods are the same. Ooh, that's a 19.
19 for me. Yep.
Did it roll? I don't think it rolled. Oh, there it is. That's a 6. Oh, man, he's rolling bad tonight. I rolled an 8 and a 6. Okay. Yeah, so this thing is grappled. I'm going to use this snail to indicate grappling. Also, Ash, you have some sort of wing on you. Do you remember what that's for? Because I really don't. Somebody cast...
Was that to show me that my health was lowered? Maybe?
I don't think so. It would maybe like a freedom of movement, or it did Rictavio cast something on you in the last fight, maybe?
I think...
I can't remember what it was.
Or the priest?
So I think it was the
Rictavio.
priest.
Well, maybe. I don't... I think I remember somebody casting something. I was right next to Rictavio.
There's the protection from evil and good. Oh, Death Ward. I think Rictavio might have cast Death Ward on you.
Yep, it was a death ward.
That's right. That's what it was.
Okay, so that's your Death Ward. So you still have that, because you have not dropped to 0 hit points.
Cool. I'd love to see it.
Okay, and then the snail represents the grapple. You have grappled this vampire spawn. I need to move this to... Okay. So that takes your attack, but its movement speed is now 0. Woo! That's your first round of Insightful Fighting, which brings us to its turn. It has to... I'm gonna make a... I actually don't know what the best decision is for this creature. I think it's going to go DPS. I think it's just going to try to burn you down.
Yeah.
So, I've got a 15 to hit.
I think that makes it for sure. Yeah, that's exactly my armor class.
So it is going to grapple you back, and then its second attack is going to be a bite. Oh, that is only 11 to hit.
Yeah.
So as the
Love
two
to
of
see
you
it.
like struggle back and forth, that you can tell this thing is very comfortable with grappling because that's like one of the main things that it does. And so it, rather than trying to break the grapple, just goes in for the bite, hoping that it can damage you. But you are able to twist acrobatically and get yourself out of the way, and it does not connect with that bite. That's a bad round for this vampire.
You love to see it.
Okay. Wandress, you're up.
All right. So.
Oh, and Ash gets a hit die.
So real quick, I'm sorry, Wanders. My current health is 24, and that's the max that I can have.
I do allow you guys to add the additional to temp HP, so if you just want to roll a hit die and add it to temp HP, that is how I've been ruling it in the past. So okay, very good. Wandress, sorry to interrupt, but you are up.
Okay. Wanders has stood there frozen momentarily, but he sees what's happened, and now we've got this dual grapple between Ash and this other zombie spawn. So Wandress looks at him and shouts kind of, "You're the rat here." And he is going to call up a rat familiar.
Okay.
He has one more wild shape left, and he is going to use it to call up a rat familiar, and he is going to send that rat scurrying towards the vampire. And does that mean that he goes on my initiative
So
and I get to go?
just want to look at your familiar thing. Is it an action to cast that? Is that how it works? Because I know the find familiar thing is different, but you have like your
you gain the ability
wild companion.
Oh, I guess it does.
As an action, you can expend your use of wild shape to cast find familiar without material components. Okay, great. Yeah, you can do that. So you want to use this rat familiar to do what now?
Okay. Now, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit slow on this.
Okay.
I was thinking that was a bonus action. But you know what? What I was doing, I was confusing two things. It's the starry form I can do as a bonus action.
Starry form is a bonus action,
So
yes.
can I say that's what I was doing instead of the rat?
You want to go starry form. Okay.
Yes, it's the because I wanted to do it as a and I want to do the one that does radiant damage. So that's the one that I suddenly start to have like the purple constellation. My body starts to be connected different points by stars, and it makes kind of a purple constellation on my body. I shed a bright light in a 10-foot radius, and it lasts for 10 minutes. And I am going to do the one that gives me the archer, the constellation of an archer.
Okay.
I hurl a luminous arrow that targets one creature within 60 feet. On a hit, the attack deals radiant damage equal to 1d8 plus my wisdom modifier.
Okay. Hang on.
Because it's a bonus action and I still get the action of the attack.
Okay, so Wandress is going starry form.
Yes.
Okay, so there you are. And you have your stats for what that does. And then, you said, are you moving or?
No, I think I'm just staying right there in place.
All right, and you can. I forget how starry form works. So what exactly is it that you're doing with it?
I am hurling a luminous arrow towards a purple luminous arrow towards the zombie.
Okay.
And if I hit it, the attack deals a radiant damage equal to 1d8 plus my wisdom modifier.
Okay. So let's see.
But when I look at my weapons, if that is the thing called Starbright, that's wrong. Because Starbright is 2d10 radiant damage.
And this is 1d8 radiant damage?
This says 1d8, so I don't know exactly what to hit to do that.
It's fine. I'll give you one. So we'll call this. What did you call it?
It's the luminous arrow. It could just be arrow.
Okay, luminous arrow. You attack with your wisdom. It does 1d8 plus your
wisdom modifier.
1d8 plus your wisdom on and this is radiant.
Yes.
And when it crits, it does an extra 8 damage. Okay, and does it have any other effects? Probably not, right? Just the damage?
No, that's,
Okay.
just it lasts for the rest of the time, so I can continue.
Okay,
to
when
do
you
it.
activate the form and as a bonus action on your subsequent turns. So you actually still have an action after this, but go ahead and roll your luminous arrow. That's crazy.
Okay.
That is a 12 to hit. Do you want to use any inspiration?
I can't find chat. Okay. Yeah, I think I will go ahead and use that chat inspiration inspiration.
All right. Oof.
Oh,
That is
that's
only
even
a
worse.
10.
Okay.
So you fire your luminous bolt. You have chat inspiration back. You fire your luminous bolt.
Oh,
but
thank you.
unfortunately, as Ash and this creature are like wriggling back and forth, trying to bite and stab each other, your bolt misses as they both kind of like duck down for a second and it whizzes over their head. That's your bonus action. You do still have your action.
Okay.
Oh, I need to add you to the turn order so I don't forget you in the future. That happens when I move your token. Okay, you are here, and you
I
had...
am so low on everything else, and having done that,
Yeah. I mean, you always have cantrips, or you can shoot with.
I do. I'm thinking at this point, I'm furious. Okay.
Right.
And so, I am going to grab my thorn whip, and I'm going to lash out at this character in range.
Okay.
Make a spell attack against the target. Okay. And so I'm doing thorn whip. Oh, did I do that?
No, I did that.
Okay. So I have to rush forward to do that.
No, you don't. The range on that is 30 feet, so you can do that to any creature within 30 feet. So,
okay, and it's still considered a melee. Okay.
But Thorn Whip is only a 12, so that still does not hit.
Okay, well, boy.
Brutal. Okay. Yeah, so you start lashing out at this creature, but it's just like the way the two of them are kind of grappling back and forth.
Does it not make a difference if they're grappled?
No, it makes a difference in their restrained, if they're restrained, which is like grapple on crack, but you have to have an ability that lets you restrain a creature. Just grappling them just basically brings their speed to 0.
Okay. Well,
which is super useful in this context, but doesn't affect AC or give you advantage or anything like that. Onyx, you're up. This thing is grappled. It is going back and forth with your boy Ash, who is currently Mask Ash. So your boy is an appropriate moniker.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna like try to hit it with my short sword.
Okay.
And see what happens with that.
Yeah, let her rip.
You love to see it.
Yeah. Kyber in chat is saying this happens every time a grapple happens in 5e. 21 hits. Because you're grappling for 5e sucks. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things like grappling and restrain. People always think grapple does some of the stuff restrain does. Okay, so
my boy Onyx is 2 for 2 with the short sword stuff, right?
He really is. Okay. Here's a question. Has anybody, I forgot to do this on its turn, did anybody hit the creature with radiant damage in the turn before? So I guess Cass, let's look back at chat. Before we left on last session, did you hit that thing with radiant damage?
This one, no. I've just been focusing on
so
the
it actually regained
time.
some HP. So back, this is something I forgot to do, but back as it was fighting you, Ash, some of its wounds start to close up. As you're fighting it from the round before. Okay, so you've stabbed it. Is that your action, I think? Do you have any bonus action or anything else? From Onyx.
I'm trying to think. I'm looking and I don't see anything that's really worth it. So I think that's just going to be my turn at this point. Okay,
Cass, you are up.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's a religion check, right?
That is correct.
Ooh, nat 20.
Bro, and
love
a nat
to see it,
1.
baby.
Heaven and hell beside today. Holy crap.
Everybody liked that.
Okay. God, I'm going to count that as 2 successes.
Woo! Okay, and how many more do I need? Just one?
Just one more after this, yeah.
Okay, and can I, like, fire a cantrip at the
Yes,
spawn?
you can't move, but you can still take your action. as
Okay,
well.
then yeah, I'm gonna yeet a sacred flame at it.
Okay, so it's going to make a dex save.
DC 13.
DC 13. And it nat 20 the dex save.
Oof. Okay, never.
Brutal.
Well, just take that 4 off.
Okay, yeah, so it does not take that damage. With that nat 20, Cass, as you are praying over this ceremony, you see that Yeska crawls over and grabs Father Lucian's holy symbol and just like snaps it off his neck and comes over and kneels down and starts praying with you, and you feel the as that nat 20, you feel the like power of this religion check getting stronger. Like it is a noticeable difference when he crawls over there and starts participating. You feel that it gets more powerful and counts as 2 successes there. Okay, so that was your action. You still have a bonus action if there's anything you want to do. If there's anything you can do, there may not be.
Okay. I kind of want to throw that mace to Wondrous. That way, like, they can use that on the spawn.
Oh, okay. Does that mace... I think that mace requires attunement. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it would do... Let me go look at the stat block for it.
So it does require attunement, but...
Was the Mace of Disruption. So yeah, I think it would count as a magical weapon for the purposes of resistance and stuff, but I don't think that it would do all of its cool stuff. So like all the extra radiant damage and blowing it up and stuff. I don't think it would do all of that, but it still would count as magic damage, which this thing has resistance to like non-magical stuff, so that would be useful. But it wouldn't do all the cool explosion of undead death stuff, all the big radiant stuff.
So does that only work for me right now, or?
Yes, because it takes an hour to attune to a thing. So again, you can still like...
I see what you mean. I wasn't entirely sure what attunement
Yeah, so like if you toss it over, it still helps, right? It is a magic weapon, although... I think both Ash's silver and Wondrous's general magic stuff will work. The only one who kind of doesn't have anything as good against it right now is Onyx. But, I mean, he also has magic, but...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, never mind then. I won't.
Okay. Okay. That brings us back to Ash. Man, real good job with the keeping shit static this time. Damn.
Do you need an athletics check to continue this?
No, you can just choose to continue the grapple. It can choose to try to break a grapple on its turn. Okay. I don't think, once you've got something grappled, I don't think you have to give anything up to keep it grappled.
Okay, cool.
Action economy-wise, yeah.
Sweet. So my next question would be, can I attack with the grapple?
Yes, you can attack as normal. Yep. You couldn't attack with, I think you have to attack with a one-handed weapon. You couldn't attack with like a two-handed weapon, really. Sure. But you always use one-handed weapon, so it doesn't come up.
Okay. So we'll go for a, the stake doesn't do anything unless it's literally prone, right? And like...
Yeah, you'd have to drop this thing to 0 hit points.
Right. Just double checking. I figured that's what it was.
Before the stake would do anything.
Okay, real quick before I use my where's it at? There it is. So with this silver short sword on my character sheet, like the short sword shows 1d6 plus 4. Wouldn't the silvered one be the same?
Yes. Is it on there differently?
It's showing plus 2 for some reason.
Okay.
Been meaning to bring that up, and
sure.
We're kind of in some shit right now, so I'd like to go ahead and resolve.
It should be plus dex. It was adding your strength instead of your dex. I probably set that up wrong, or it got set up wrong when I dragged it onto your sheet or something. So
it's all good. Well, that's what we're going for. I just want to make sure before we went for it.
Are you? I just want to say, if anyone watched Reach into Bedegar the other week, I gotta stop using undead as enemies because this is getting fucking ridiculous. Oh my god. It's another nat 20. Okay. So that's gonna be a raft of fucking damage. So that's 12. 18 plus 5 is 23 points of damage. My god. So as this thing goes to bite you in the neck, you just like twist your neck out of the way, but like you twist your neck as a way to like use the way that you guys are grappling to drag its body to the side as you just shove your sword into its torso, just like through some ribs. Clearly, you're cutting lungs. It's a miracle for it. It's a miracle you didn't sever its spine. But an absolute and blood that is like dark and sticky begins to kind of pool out of the side of this creature as it sort of hisses at you. Damn. Absolutely brutal.
Feels
Okay.
real good. Feels real good.
That's your second round of Insightful Spine, and that brings us to this thing. Which is going to pull some bullshit. It is going to act, instead of trying to break the grapple, it is going to make a shove attack against Ash. So Ash, I need an athletics check. Opposed.
Okay, do not F me, Nat 20. Do not F me right now. Do not do it.
All right.
22. Dirty.
Oh.
But it's there.
Okay, it rolled a 7.
All right.
So
I'm gonna stomp this thing
yeah.
into the dirt, bro.
Unfortunately, this thing has multi-attack and gets to make 2 attacks, so it is going to do the same thing again.
Oh, God.
Okay. Go ahead.
Another
and roll.
athletics for me, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Another one.
Yes. Yes.
Damn, Ash,
Oh my god!
who has been turned into a rat today, has found an unimaginable well of strength. And I think maybe like as you guys, and I think you guys are like spinning around a little bit, like you're wrestling back and forth. I think you see what Yeska is doing and just like get inspired. You're like, I cannot let this thing get over there. And absolutely double up.
right.
It got a 13. Your 23 wins. It cannot get away from you and has wasted both of its attacks trying to do so. God damn. I was so desperate to get it off of you and then get it over there to attack at Cass, but it's not happening. It's just not happening. Wanderous,
Emotions
you're
are
up.
getting away from me here. That's fine.
All right. Wanderous has had it, is trying it again. He roars this time as he tosses another luminous arrow at this thing.
15
Yes.
is exactly what you need to hit.
All right.
For
Okay,
6
that's
more
6
radiant
radiant
damage.
damage.
And that's your bonus action. You still have your action.
Yeah. So seeing that, now does it look like it didn't do as much as I was hoping that it would?
No, you would know by this point, radiant damage is always good against undead. It's not always super effective it's like things don't always have weakness to radiant, but undead basically never have resistance to radiant. So it does exactly what you want.
Okay.
You do know this thing does not have weakness to radiant, but it doesn't have resistance to it. So
Okay. So I am trying to see, because we haven't had a rest in
Yeah.
like flipping forever. And I am pretty sure that I have an extra guiding bolt, don't I? I think I do.
yeah, if you've got any guiding bolts
but
left, but I don't know.
I don't. I was using those on the
Yeah.
on the hags.
Right.
So I do not. So the
I
only
think
thing I
you're
have
out
left after
of-
that.
yeah,
and
you're
and
out of- out of radiant damage you can do to it, but I mean, you also make a, I don't know, Arcana or Religion, I think would be the only way to know this.
Okay, let me get to my main Arcana or Religion. I think neither one is worth talking about.
Right.
No, they're the same. I'll do
Okay.
Religion.
14. I think by this time 14 is enough to know this is not the most powerful vampire. I mean, you've seen Strahd and he's got all kinds of shit going on. But this thing, in the times you've run up against them, your Thorn Whip and your like frost magic do fine against this thing, right? It's non-magical piercing, bludgeoning, slashing damage that it generally has resistance to.
Well, I've thought better of the
So.
Thorn Whip now that I've really thought about it, because if that happens, I'm going to pull it closer to me,
Yes,
but
and
also
that actually
closer to
will
the other
break the
guy.
grapple,
So given
so.
that, I'm not trying Thorn Whip again. I'm going to
Yeah.
hit it with Frostbite.
Okay, so it has to make a con save.
Yes,
Let's
DC
do it.
15.
DC 15. That is an 8. God, he's rolling back. I have not rolled above a 15 for like anything this thing has done since this fight started.
Okay, then he takes 4 cold damage.
4 cold damage. Okay. Okay. Onyx.
I think, I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to move up directly beside Ash so that we're more of a block right there that,
Okay.
he might have to go through us. Just,
Yeah.
I think Wandrix is doing that.
Cool. Onyx, you're up.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just swing on it again with my sword because I don't think I really have anything else right now. So let's do short sword attack. Rolled a 19 to hit.
Hits.
And
Onyx
5
has not
piercing.
missed. He don't miss.
He's something of a swords prodigy.
He's been.
that's all I'm
And it's
saying.
funny. Your track record with firing off spells nowhere near this good. Right?
No, it's
I've seen
terrible.
countless
I'm
fire bolts and Rays of Frost go absolutely nowhere, but these short swords just like.
it's,
So I guess
I'm a terrible wizard.
Yeah, but like, talk to me about it though. So Onyx has had one sword lesson. So what does this look like? Is Onyx a savant that he's just like going Sherlock mode and analyzing and like the numbers
Yeah.
are falling, or is this just pure dumb luck? Like that
it's straight
Ash
up-
is accidentally pushing it onto your sword. Like, what's happening here?
I feel like it's on my quest to seek knowledge. I think I studied it to the point of just trying to become proficient with it as much as I can. So I think it's really more of oh hey, this is kind of sort of blind luck, but also I've studied and researched this for so long.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, okay, so that is 5 points of piercing damage. Okay.
Yep. And I think that is my turn. So
And you are still just absolutely stabbing this thing. Okay, Cass. The moment of truth.
Okay, let's see if I can get.
Can we get
this.
some drum rolls in chat, please?
Oh, please don't, because I'm not going to pull it off if it happens. Nope.
That is an 8. Okay. You got any inspiration?
No inspiration to be found.
Okay. So this round, it does not happen. You don't quite get there this round. Okay, and I am going to say that Yeska acts after your initiative. He is going to give you the help action for the next round. He couldn't on the last
he
one.
had advantage on this, excuse me.
He
Because
does
Yeska was
not. No, Yeska gave him an extra success from the nat 20. That's how I was kind of
okay.
flavoring that. But I was counting that as having used his action previously, kind of. So this time he's going to give the help action. But he didn't have an action last time because he spent it on the success, making that a bigger success so that there was the possibility for 2. So it kind of amounted to the help action, but not exactly. So it just, the advantage didn't carry over to this round because it got counted as 2 blips instead of 1, right? So, okay, Ash.
Well, real quick, Cass still has action and bonus action.
Oh,
right?
yeah. My bad.
Also, you have inspiration, Cass.
Yeah, you do have
Ooh,
inspiration
nice.
now, Cass. Okay.
I'm going to try another Sacred Flame at this thing.
Okay.
Got to beat a
This thing
DC
does have a
13.
+6 to Dex. He gets a 19. The only thing I've been able to do is evade those Sacred Flames. Nothing else has worked, but he does have a really big Dex modifier. So even though he's actually, because I don't think grappled affects your I don't think grappled affects your Dex saves, does it? That's restrained, right? Let me just
I have
double
no
check.
idea, honestly.
Speed becomes 0. Conditions. That is correct. Okay, yeah. So no, it's just restrained that impacts your Dex save. So it does still make that 19. It got, even with disadvantage, it was 2 19s.
Oh, wow.
So, Ash, you are up.
All right. Let me double check here because I actually may have something else going on.
This thing's starting to look pretty rough. I mean, you guys have,
Yeah.
it's taken some massive hits in the last round.
So insightful fighting is still active, which actually does nothing for me at this point, considering that I have friendlies in range here. But I do think that we can do steady aim. As bonus action, you give yourself advantage on your next attack.
Yep.
As long as I haven't moved. And
That
obviously
is-
planned on not moving. So
Yep.
let's do that.
Okay.
Do you have to roll anything for this?
No, it just gives you advantage on
Just
your
gives me
attack.
an advantage.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
so-
All right. Another short sword attack. Always forget I have that one. Oh no!
Oh, the
yeah,
worst of
absolutely
all
not.
possible
Oh
worlds.
no!
Oh my god.
We cannot ruin that streak like that. I'm gonna burn my chat inspiration. For those at home, that was
Okay.
double nat ones.
Double that ones.
Not a good
Jeez.
time. Jesus Christ! Come on, baby.
Okay, 16 hits.
Uh,
Good lord.
Okay, real quick, and I think I know the answer to this, but because I have advantage from the
No.
steady aim. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, because
but-
your advantage from before was both of the nat ones. I really
Yeah.
shouldn't have even let you use the inspiration one, but that's
Oh.
fine. We'll let it happen.
Oh, I didn't think to ask.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. If I was
No, I
going to be a
just feel
stickler
bad.
for it, I would have stopped you.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. We'll take it.
Let her
Take
rip.
what we got.
Okay, so we're
I
going to
would
use the
roll
top.
double nat ones.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to use the 8 and the 3, so that is 11 more points of damage.
I'll take that.
Phew, yeah, this thing's looking very rough. What's the choice here? I think it just gets enraged, and I think it's just going to make a claw attack against Ash. God, that's only a 14 to hit. And a bite attack against Ash.
Watch this one rip my
That's
throat
an
out.
8 to hit. God!
Let's go.
I have basically not rolled above a 10 for this thing on anything outside of those dex saves. This is dire, you guys. Vampire spawns are not easy. You guys are level 4. This is a CR5 monster. And it just is completely shut down. Absolutely nothing going on. Okay. That's its 2 attacks. It doesn't have any movement. It doesn't have any bonus actions. Wondrous. You're
Well,
up.
Wanderous has obviously been affected by everything that's happening, and he's stumbling around trying to protect the whole thing that's going on, and realizes immediately as soon as he did it, when he moves into range with the guy, he can't use his luminous arrow. So he's so frustrated and upset. So he is actually going to leap to the side now, realizing what he's done, which will most likely grant an attack of opportunity, and he is going to try to move far enough away to be able to throw his luminous dingus at him again. So,
Okay. Yeah. So attack of opportunity as you jump to the side is 20 to hit
and that will indeed hit.
for 7 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Wanderous is undeterred, whips out his luminous arrow and hurls it at the guy with another shout.
Okay.
Wanderous is almost sounding like he's gotten a little bit too close to some of his animal familiars. His sounds are guttural and shouting. They're not words you can understand. I gotta find it here. So another luminous arrow.
I also feel like
And
I need
that's
to
a
do some
17
editing
to
on
hit.
Wondrous's sheet because you have like I think you have a bunch of duplicate actions in here. I keep forgetting to go in and help you clear some of that out. But anyway,
Okay.
17
so luminous
hits.
action, 17 to hit.
17 does hit.
That is 13 points of damage.
Damn. That is a nasty shot. This thing is on its last legs.
And he follows it immediately up with another guttural shout with a frostbite.
Okay, so that is a DC 15.
DC
con
15
save.
or 2 more points of damage.
It does make the save. That's an 18.
Okay, then no damage.
So your luminous arrow launches in and slams into the creature, but your follow-up frost does not quite deal it any damage. That brings us to any other movement from Wondrous.
No, Wanderous just shouts, and this time in words you can understand, in Kaz's direction. He says, "Finish this, Kaz."
Okay, Onyx.
Okay, so I forgot to ask last, but do I technically get advantage or not since I'm...
I typically don't do flanking rules like that, so...
Okay, cool.
no.
Just wanted to make sure. So let me go ahead and do this then. Just Sword again.
Exactly.
There.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh. And
we got the Mozart of swordplay
right
here.
And you aren't using blade song, so you don't get to use intelligence, right? You have to use dex for your
I have to use Dex right now because I don't have Blade Song yet.
Okay. Yeah, you stab this thing, and you're just like little pokes. Like, they aren't the most damaging attacks, but it's just a little bit of extra, slash in there every round. Then this dark, sticky blood just continues to sort of dribble out of this thing. Cass, you're up.
I literally have a 50, at least a 55% chance of hitting this.
Come on,
So-
Cass. Yes,
Oof.
yes.
Your fingers.
All right, inspo time.
It's 11.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
a 16. Okay. That is the third
Yes.
out of 3. So, Cass, what does it look like as you finish this ritual?
I don't know. I feel like the bones just kind of like start to glow and like almost kind of emit like a transparent kind of, force-filled kind of barrier thing around this church. And I think it'd be really cool if it just caused like the vampire spawn to like evaporate, but that's probably not going to happen.
Sorry, so what was the first part of that again?
So I feel like they like start to glow and then, just kind of like expand the energy out to like basically surround the walls of the church.
Yeah, so you see this kind of like dim light faintly begin to shine as like you and Yeska sort of put your hands on these bones, and they just like faintly start to glow, and then the light gets brighter and brighter. And it doesn't really expand in a sphere. It just sort of like infuses all of the wood and stone. It's almost like just like this faint golden luminosity shining out from every crack and facet of the wood and stone that remains. And you can see, Ash, as you are grappling and fighting with this creature, that as this begins to happen, it like begins to shake and kind of sizzle and burn, and then the light gets brighter and brighter, and you hear this thing cry out, "No!" And then in a flash, it's nothing but Ash, which sort of
But Ash is
settles
right
down
here.
into a pile on the floor in front of Ash. And you still hear the faint sound of rain outside as the building smolders, its roof having burned much of it away. Actually, rain is now falling into the building, sort of mingling with the blood and the bodies. The ash there is getting damp. And the fire begins to kind of die down a little bit because of the rain. But the damage is extensive. And that is going to bring us out of initiative. Cass, you see Yeska holding this holy symbol is like, panting with the exertion of this ritual. Something that you're probably much more like used to. But he is sort of like panting and crying.
I'm going to slap him on the shoulder and say, I couldn't have done it without you.
And I think he nods sort of silently and just kind of tries to get himself under control. And you both are like kneeling in blood right now, right? Which has like started to get sticky, but then is getting rained on and is getting wet again. And there's like a caved in part of the floor that you guys are gonna have to replace, where these bones are sort of tucked up under the floorboards. What does everybody do? I'll put us back on the RP camps.
Okay, well, Wanderous is dropping his starry form, and he walks forward, stops where the ashes from the thing are, and walks forward towards Cass, and he's just stunned, and he says, "It worked. I really didn't think it would work. Cass, it worked. And he looks around the whole room and what's left and kind of sees the glow. I can't believe it. It worked.
We're bringing hope back to this place.
So the bones did keep that monster out of here.
I'm not sure whose bones these are, but that seems to be it.
Forgive me, Cass and Esker, for asking this question. My inclination is that we should burn these bodies. But if we didn't,
Jessica.
if we saved their bones, would they be sacred like this? The bones of someone that monster killed?
I think, in response to your question, Wondrous, Yeska just sort of looks up at you and says, I think if that were true, there is not an inch of this land that would not already be holy.
Wonder sighs.
Or you say my name?
What's the funeral customs for this land?
Well,
You have no
there is-
priest, but I can try to render the honors the best that I can.
there is a graveyard out back, but, maybe Big Scary Man is right. Maybe we should burn them?
That's
I
up to
don't know.
you.
Wanderous looks over at Ash.
Cass make a religion and Onyx make an Arcana check for me.
Yeah.
16.
Okay, and Onyx? Sorry, I didn't see it come through, so I don't know. 23. Okay. Yeah, between the two of you, you know that burning these would stop them from becoming undead. You don't know 100% that they would or wouldn't, but you do know it would stop it if it was going to happen.
Then I say as long as it doesn't violate any traditions of these people's faith, then we should.
Yeah, I think that Yeska nods.
Yeah.
He feels like he would be comfortable, agreeing to that.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys...
we should also probably check on oh lord, Ismark and Arena as well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about them.
Now that the church is safe, maybe they can finally find a little bit of peace.
Yeah, we should probably try to move them here.
Yeska looks up at the roof, which is now just missing. And just sort of
Yeah, but I
sighs.
mean, at least Strahd probably can't get to them.
It's a fixer-upper.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
This week's episode of Chris Strahd.
Home Improvement Edition.
Cue laugh track from the audience. Hey Jerry, I noticed something was going on with your rutabagas today. My rutabagas.
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, well, Yeah, so Ash should probably walk up to the little congregation around the altar here. Do you know where Milovich? Do you know where his siblings are? Yeska.
Let's see here. Yeah, I think he says, I'm not 100% sure, but, I think they're over closer to the east gate. I know, Milvaj always, came walking from that direction.
I'll get somebody to find them. That's okay. Thank you. Before we start letting people know that this is now a safer place again,
We need to get the bodies out of here and clean it up.
yeah. Is there anybody left who worked here?
Yeska just kind of shakes his head no.
Maybe we should talk to, what's the barkeep's name?
Erwin Mardikov.
Maybe we should talk to Erwin.
Yeah. Because if this is a safe place, then maybe we can get some of the town to help us out.
Yeska, what will you do now?
I don't know. I felt something call to me when all of that was happening. It was all very scary. But I don't know, it felt like something I was supposed to do. So I didn't really think about it too hard. But I don't know, something feels different. I don't want to see more people get hurt.
Me either. And I think we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeska nods his head. And,
Okay.
yeah, make an insight check, Ash. $21.
21.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's something kind of different about Yeska. Something also kind of sad because you can tell, I think, with a 21. Like, you see a road stretching out in front of him that reminds you of when you and Thorin were kids. And there's a vibe that reminds you a little bit of some of the things I think that Thorin could do. And I think it's sad because he's so young.
A lot of growing up in a really short amount of time.
Yeah, but there's like there's this sort of like, and it's sad and it's scary, right? There's this sort of like fierceness to him now, that wasn't there before. And it's kind of like, in a certain way, it's like, you know, it's that weird thing where it's like inspiring and really, really sad at the same time. You know, because it's like you can see that road, and you can see that his little, blood-stained footprint is like poised on the first step of it. But you also feel like if you wanted to nudge him one way or another, it's not too late. Just yet. But, like, only just.
Okay, well, I think that I would probably ask, do you have extra clothes here?
Yeah, I think Yeska sort of goes over to one of the rooms and, like, opens it up to see that it has completely burned out and, like, the ceiling fell in and, like, all of Yeska's worldly possessions have been immolated and then drenched. So he just sort of like glances in the room and just sort of looks at you and shrugs.
That's okay. We'll get you some more. For what it's worth, I think you have a couple of options, buddy. I think that and you have to make this decision for yourself, but we could probably get you out of here and take you somewhere where you wouldn't have to worry about this anymore. Or you could stay here where there is hope that we can make it better and we can make it safer. Starting here when what we've done tonight, and you were a big part of that. I think that all of us working together can make a great difference. But you have to be in charge of what you do with your own life. But I do want you to know that all of us, myself, Onyx, Wondrous, Cass, we're here to help you do whatever it is you want to do. And I know that's a big decision to ask of someone so young, but I think it's also fair because you've seen a lot that you shouldn't have. You understand?
I suppose I'm not used to make a decision. He sort of nods and says, the fathers tell me what to do. And for the most part, I am safe. But I guess it's not like that anymore.
Are we all hearing this conversation?
It's scary. Yeah, I think you're hearing it.
Wanderus is going to move a little closer and actually go down on his knees so he's not so gigantically huge. And he's going to say, well, young warrior, you don't have to make all of those decisions tonight. But we should probably take care of the bodies before any loved ones would see them. And then we can say they fought valiantly because they did. But they would not see what happened here. And Wanderus is going to look around at the rest of the group and say, and we must rest. Before we do anything, we must rest. And we will be safe here. The rain will wash the worst away. But we should take care of the bodies.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I think Yeska looks up and sort of sees the, like, slash across your chest. I think by this point, too... Oh, did I make you multi-sided? That might have been a thing I did. No, I didn't. I need to, though. Okay. You, as you're sort of, like, your starry form is fading back, I think Yeska looks up and sort of sees the slash mark kind of across your chest and says, You get hurt protecting everyone?
We are all hurt this night, Eska, in many ways. And we are all trying to protect ourselves and each other. And all of you.
And I think Yeska just sort of like reaches up and sort of like grabs your hand and kind of like rests his forehead against it.
Wanderous will look over towards Onyx, a little scary-eyed, like, what do I do now?
Yeah, and as you look scary-eyed, you feel as his like tear kind of drops onto your back of your hand. This little flash of kind of radiant light. And you regain 5 hit points. As Yeska casts Cure Wounds.
I'll, as Wanderous looks over at me, I'll just kind of nod and be like, "It'll be okay."
Wanderous takes one gigantic hand and reaches over like he's gonna actually pet Yeska on the head. But then he doesn't, because he thinks his hand might be a little bit too big.
And I think Yeska sort of like pulls back and like sniffles and kind of like wipes his eyes in that like embarrassed way. And just sort of like decides to head towards the door and kind of get out of this room.
I think Wanderous is going to work towards gathering up the bodies.
Yeah,
There
okay.
were 3 of them, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a quarter. 9, 10,
God.
11, 12. Between what's here and on the steps, there's like 12-ish. Not all of them are identifiably whole. It's bad.
Is it still raining?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a drizzle. It was like a thunderstorm, when Strahd was there, but it is softened to just sort of a sad and dreary drizzle. And also, it's probably now pushing like 3 in the morning or something. It's very late. In fact, actually, I hate to do this. Everybody please make a Constitution saving throw. Because you haven't rested since before the pie incident yesterday, basically.
Wanderous rolled a 13.
I rolled a 20.
Okay, so Cass and Wanderous, you guys are pushing through okay. Ash and Onyx, who were really in the grapple with that thing, you guys have a level of exhaustion.
Okay. Yep.
So, Wanderous, I feel like we can start taking the bodies and maybe consolidate them out back next to the cemetery and then go from there.
I wouldn't take him out of the building. I don't think Wanderous would let you do that.
I mean, we can't just burn them in here.
Well, I think maybe we can't burn them tonight if it's still drizzling and raining. But could we try to assemble, like just line them up somewhere like a morgue?
We could probably use one of the back rooms for that so we can start bringing people in.
Try to find the driest place in the building and just sort of get the bodies in one place. And
yeah, so
I can
look
go
around
check this room, like the bottom right room, or the top right.
I think
one of
the
the rooms on the right
ones-
that doesn't have a bed in it.
yeah, I think the ones that had gotten messed up were that one and that one were on fire, if I'm not mistaken. So one of the bedrooms and one of the like offices, I guess.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, that's accurate because I hit it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So so this would be Father Lucian's room, and I guess I actually have to look at this adventure and see what rooms, these are, if it tell me.
Well, what would make
Ba-da-da-da.
sense would to put Father Lucian and the young boy in Father Lucian's room if it's not terribly destroyed, and then what we can of everyone else. Shut the doors and each one of us rest in front of them until we get to a dry place and we can deal with it.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can put the bodies here. The boy can sleep in Father Lucian's room.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we
I
could
think
either-
Yeska's. He's not maybe here on this conversation. Yeska's not sleeping in his church tonight. That kid, there's no way he's sleeping alone in this building.
Let's get
Whoever's
him
going to the
I'm-
inn, he's
I'm-
going
I
with them.
think we should all stay.
So we can get Lucian to the like whoever goes to check on Ismark and Arena
Okay,
can take Lucian to the inn and get him a room.
Yeska. Lucian was the priest.
Or
Yeah,
or Jessica.
But yeah,
So, Ash, looking at Onyx, should we maybe take him to the church and see if we can find Arena and Ismark since we're dead on our feet?
I think we should
Yeah.
stay here where we know that
We-
we are safe and we should rest.
I think it'd be a good idea, at least getting to Arena and Ismark, because they did hire us to protect them, so we should at least try to stick with it.
We're gonna come back, but
Yep, we'll come back.
we need to let Arena and Ismark know that they're safe here now. Otherwise, all this was for almost nothing. And
Yeah.
I got to make sure that Yeska makes it to the inn. All right. It's late and we don't know if
Yeah.
anybody's
You
still
were
around.
saying we should leave a safe place and go to an unsafe place?
So, Wondrous, what we're saying is you and I can stay here and start cleaning things up. They can go back to the inn, drop Jessica off, check on Irina and Ismark, and then potentially come back.
Yeah, the plan is for us to return, but we can't let the 6-year-old boy walk all the way across town by himself in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We'll come right back, I promise.
We'll be back.
I do not approve of this. But you will do what you will do. And Wander starts to gather up the bodies and place them in the one room.
okay.
I think with that, I know that Ash is going to run after Yeska.
Yeah, I don't think Yeska went far. I think he just, got to a point where he's like, had to get out of that room. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
makes
It's
sense.
like he's in there with, is a boy in there with a bunch of dead people. But I think he didn't want to get too far away from you guys. So I think he just kind of went out to like the corner of the steps to just sit and not look at anything.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that I'd be running out there after him.
Okay.
Right, yeah, I think I'd honestly probably follow
Okay.
as well. So
Okay, so Cass and Wandress are sort of like trying to collect the bodies and put them somewhere relatively out of the way for the evening, and then you guys are going to the inn to talk to Erwin and Danica and Ismark and Arena, and to hopefully get them to maybe watch over Yeska for the evening, and then you guys are coming back to the church to help with that stuff.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so Wandress and Cass, you guys set to doing that. You're both pretty strong, so I don't think it takes much of anything. The other two, you guys head back to the Blue Water Inn. I don't think we necessarily need to change maps or anything like that. You guys head over there. It's the middle of the night. You make it in, and I think Erwin is probably like watching the front door, basically. Sees you guys come in and sort of hails you over and says, what the news? How did the ritual go? Were you successful? Where are the others? Who is that boy?
Wondrous and Cass are back at the church taking care of the dead. From what I can gather, I don't know much about the magic of it all, but we were fighting he must have sent one of his minions back to try to take the bones from us. And the moment that the ritual is completed, he burst into ashes.
That sounds pretty successful to me.
It's better than what it was. This is Yeska. He was, or is, the altar boy from the church.
Oh. Oh, yes, I see. I didn't recognize through all the blood.
Yeah, speaking of that, you wouldn't happen to have some spare clothes or something to...
Yes, 1 second. And he sort of calls up the stairs. Hang on 1 second. He calls up the stairs and says, Brom, wake up. Come down here. For the first time, well, I guess you've seen this kid. A boy runs down the stairs after looking kind of groggy, rubbing the sleep out of his eyes, and says, Yes, father. And sort of sees what's going on and kind of looks a bit, kind of shocked by all this. And Erwin sort of says, This is Yeska from the church. Take him, get him cleaned up, offer him some clothes, please. He will be sleeping with in your room with you and Bray tonight. And then he sort of like nods. And Brom is maybe like a year or so older than Yeska, but pretty similar in age, and kind of takes him up the stairs. And Yeska looks a little bit like he doesn't want to leave you, but after some sort of convincing, he does go up to get cleaned up and get squared away for the evening. And then Erwin takes you all into the barn. So he sort of leads you back behind the bar, north into the kitchen, and then out the back door and into the barn, where you hear a sleepy horse sort of like sniffling in one of the stalls. And just before he opens like the barn door, which this is just a side door, so it's not like the big opening door. It's just, and he kind of gives this very particular sort of like cawing note that unnaturally comes out of his like human throat. And it seems to be some sort of like signal. There's a bit of a call and response for a second, and he leads you in, and sort of shuffling or, to the edge and peering over, you can see the were ravens. You can see him, or you can see Danica, as well as a couple of people who are in sort of like a half transformed form. You know that thing where like a werewolf is like not truly in like a wolf where it like runs on the ground, but it's like an anthropomorphized kind of thing. You see several raven-like creatures who are quite large, compared to an actual, they're like human-sized. Sort of like peering and looking over at you guys in the darkness. And you see Erwin's wife, Danica, who comes over and says, What has happened? Is it safe? We were undisturbed. And Erwin quickly explains, the situation, that it seems like the ritual was successful, that the boy from the church is here because of what happened to the priest, and that the rest of these guys were coming to basically check on Irina and Ismark. And so, Irina and Ismark sort of like climb down the hayloft, and you're sort of standing in the barn, speaking, while Danica sort of climbs down and is speaking to her husband nearby. So they're having kind of their own conversation, and you guys have an opportunity to talk to Irina and Ismark, who, again, sort of... everyone basically wants to know what happened. I don't know if you want to roleplay telling them what happened or just hand wave it. That's up to you. But they sort of ask what happened and what they should do next.
So Strahd was here. The church has been attacked, but thanks to I forget this guy's name again. The bard guy.
Erwin,
thank you. Jesus, I'm gonna have to write that down. Thanks to Erwin and Cass and Yeska, the church is safe again. We were fighting a vampire spawn, and as soon as the ritual was completed, it combusted.
He shakes his head. Ismark sort of shakes his head and says, All right, so what? So you think the church is safe now, then?
I have to be honest with you. I don't know the extent of Strahd's power. This is the second time that I've faced off against the monster, and I don't know what he can and can't do. But I do know that it's safer now than it was, and I do know that the minions definitely are not able to stand inside of the church now.
Well, that's something. I mean, but it's on fire. What sort of condition is it in?
It's a fixer-upper. I'm just kidding. It's definitely in rough shape. Wondrous and Cass stayed behind to, and kind of in a lower tone, dispose of the bodies, the multiple casualties. I don't know. I think it's a decision you guys have to make. There's definitely some work that needs to be done, but it still stands. It's still protected somewhat.
Ash and Onyx, make a perception check. Okay.
18.
Okay. So Onyx, yeah, I think you are sort of absorbed in thinking about the situation with Ismark and Arena and this conversation.
Mhm.
Ash, you sort of hear kind of, out of the corner of your ear, as it were, you kind of hear that Erwin and Danica are talking, and you sort of hear some hushed discussion like, well, it's not going to be good. I expect that. I don't think the people will just take this, I think, and Danica sort of says, yes, I expect they will, there will be unrest. I don't know. He said he would keep them safe, but, very obviously didn't, so I think they put up with his, and Erwin sort of kind of cuts in, right, put up with his eccentricities while there were no attacks, but now, kind of shakes his head. They appear to be, actually make an insight check. Just Ash, because you heard this.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
12, okay. Yeah, on a 12, you kind of can get a sense of what they're talking about. They appear to be talking about the political situation in Vallaki. And they're basically implying that they don't know what the town is going to do now. That the current leadership was sort of tolerated. Because you guys have heard a little bit about this. He was having like festivals all the time and all this stuff. He was sort of tolerated because he claimed that the festivals kept Strahd away. And despite the fact that like some people didn't always agree with the festival, and I think you guys had maybe even heard that like if people publicly challenged him about that, like they tended to have bad things happen to them. But like it was all kind of tolerated because Strahd wasn't attacking, right? But now that like this has happened, it sort of changes things for everybody, and that they don't really know what's going to happen. So you just have a sense that like that's a factor in the whole question is, kind of what's going to happen here. But yeah, so you and then you also Onyx, you're more keyed in. Ismark and Arena kind of exchange a significant look, and Irina says, well, I think I'm tired of running. So, if we think it might be safe here, then maybe we should stay and help rebuild the church. And I don't know. And they sort of look over to you guys, I guess, to see what your response to them saying that is.
I'll I guess I would kind of nod in acknowledgement. And then I guess ask, like, do you still have any unfinished business ahead? Like, do you still like need to go out further?
She says, ever since all this started, my only business has been keeping myself safe from that monster. Drove my father to death, but he's been buried, so there's no obligation there. She sort of gives like a grim chuckle. We could, if you all don't think it's safe enough or would be willing to do it, we could carry on to the Abbey of St. Markovia. It's the farthest place in this valley you can easily get away from Strahd, and much like here, we've heard there may be more safety there, but we can't go alone, and you may be tired of escorting us, and this place may offer here, Vallaki, if we stay in the church, may offer some measure of safety, so I suppose we're willing to stay, but if you think we should go, we're willing to do that as well. Our only real concern is to be as safe from him as we can, for as long as we can.
I'll go ahead and look over to Ash, and be like, I'll just kind of like have a conversation directly with Ash. Be like, hey, I don't really know what's like if the church is going to continue to be safe at this point. Like, yeah, yes, it is safe now, but what if another incident like this happens again?
Yeah, I wish I knew the answer to that question. If you want to know my actual thoughts, and I think Ash would probably like speak pretty loud at this point, nobody anywhere is going to be safe from this monster. Period. That's not how this is going to work. It's not how it's going to play out. Period. Until somebody stands up and does something, until somebody bands everyone together and takes the fight to him, there's no way. But that doesn't mean that can't be done. That doesn't mean, I mean, look at the Order of the Feather. They're fighting in the resistance, trying to undermine his rule. I think that the church is a good start. And I think that if it offers any sort of protection, then there's that, right? Like you gotta drag hope from somewhere, and that's, I think, a great start.
Yeah. Erwin says, you should know, before you arrive, mostly people who come up against Strahd don't survive this long. I understand he, from what you have told us, may be playing with his food, as it were. But, of course we oppose him, the Order of the Feather, and we'll continue to do so. But none of us are strong enough to defy him openly and live yet. So far it seems you and your friends are, well, the best hope we've had in a long time.
I understand, and I would not ask anybody to openly defy him and lay their life down for no reason. That's not what I ask. What I ask is that I couldn't help but to overhear some of what you were talking about, and there will be unrest, and people will be upset, and we're trying to take the brunt of that and try to deal with the bodies, so everybody's not having a full-scale panic attack right out the gate. But people should be upset, and people should be uneasy,
Erwin
especially
says, Sorry, go ahead.
Especially with the leadership that we've seen so far from the town. Maybe it's time for a change.
Yes, well, in the time since you've been gone, we've had, he sort of gestures at Ismark, we've had some conversations. I think since you have been here, you have seen two modes of towns dealing with this problem of Strahd. There is Barovia, which is unquestionably under his thumb, incapable of offering any hope or resistance. People eke out a miserable existence on the edge of tolerability until Barovia takes them or he does. Here in Vallaki, you have seen there is more prosperity. There is distance a little bit from Strahd. But much of that is a lie. An illusion he has allowed to be present here. An illusion which he has shattered, mostly for his own amusement and self-aggrandizement. And I will be very upfront. I don't yet know how... When I say there will be unrest, I expect mobs calling for the big burgomaster's head. I don't know if that's good or bad. He was obviously misguided in what he believed about his stupid festivals, keeping Strahd away. But there were many in town for whom that was the only thing keeping them any more hopeful than the Barovians. In the village of Barovia. So, it's hard to say. You may see people double down on his view. You may see people lose all hope. It will be a time of change. And I very much doubt any of us will be able to fully control that many people. But I suppose all we can do is what we can do, right?
Do you have any sort of plan?
Well, we can mostly protect ourselves. Also, everybody loves the wine, so as long as we don't run out of that, we should be safe here. As far as keeping people pacified. With regards to ourselves. Outside of that, I don't know. Maybe... I expect it will take a day or two, maybe 3. Some take a little bit of time while people digest their emotions before things get out of hand. While the bodies are cooling, pardon my phrasing, but I doubt there will be a mob in the street until they have had a chance to reflect on what's happened and decide that they are angry about it. We have some time, but not much.
We've stumbled upon, in our short time here, we've stumbled upon what I believe personally to be a way to get rid of Strahd for good. It's going to take it's going to take us time, and I can't tell you when we'll find the answer to the question, but we spoke with a fortune teller in the, what's the group's name?
The Vistani camp.
The Vistani camp.
At the Tsar Falls encampment.
Yeah.
Or Tsar Pools? Tsar Pools encampment.
Yeah, something like that. And the fortune teller told us that there was a way to win this battle. But it's all unclear, and it's going to take some searching. But as far as I know, our intent is to put a stop to him once and for all. I know that that's my intent. He's taken enough from me in my short amount of time here as it is, and I can't idly sit by and watch him continue to take everything from the people that live here. I don't think we're...
Go ahead.
I don't think personally we're looking to get caught up in anything political. I couldn't give a rat's fart who runs this town. pun intended with the previous adventures. But people do need to know that there's hope. And I don't know who it's going to be to inspire them to have hope and to fight back the best way they can, but
yeah. Well, the only other thing I can say is that no one hates the current burgomaster more than Lady Fiona Wachter. She and her family are one of the older and more powerful in town, but not necessarily politically ascendant. There are rumors that her family has old ties to Strahd, and I worry if the old burgomaster is removed, they may be best positioned to insinuate themselves. If they can convince people that the rumors are false, it's hard to say, but that is not necessarily your problem. And I don't think... I think if you have a lead on something that can help us, all haste should be made to make sure that you can pursue that. So, we will do what we can here, and we will support you to the extent that we can. And yeah, Ismark speaks up and says, as soon as I am convinced of whatever safety can be achieved for Irina, the fact that danger is omnipresent, notwithstanding, I have sworn my blade to aid you in killing the devil himself, and I will honor that pledge. So I'm not quite prepared, I think, to leave her here now, but maybe once we've sort of established the church as a little safer. If you'll have me, I will go with you.
I don't think we're quite ready to take them on ourselves. And kind of looking to Onyx, I think that we're going to need a lot more allies. And kind of give him a real meaningful look. You know what I mean? Like, kind of, I guess, say it without saying that we need to look for his mentor as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, like, say that out loud. Like, blow his cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he needs to inside check me or something. But
No, I'll just let that happen. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have this conversation. We have a lot of stuff on the table. I think what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you guys, is just sort of hand wave some stuff real quick. So Ismark and Irina head back to the church with you. The Mardikovs are fine to watch over Yeska for now. As I think by the time you all get back, sorry that you've sort of been out of commission for a minute here, Cass and Wandress, but you guys finish the bodies. I do want to say real quick, is just to give you an opportunity, are there any conversations that Wandress and Cass want to have with each other as you guys are cleaning up the bodies that we need to do before I bring everybody else back in so we can discuss what happens next?
Wanderers would have nothing to discuss other than trying to gather up the bodies, and maybe, if the water's not washing the blood around, anything he can do to clean it up, maybe try to straighten the bodies a little bit, make them look as good as possible in case any family wants to see him, whatever. And he's just going about his work. So that's where Wanderous is.
I think after they had moved the bodies into the room, and as they were starting to clean up the church, Cass would walk up to Wondrous and say, I know it's been a crazy couple of days, but how are you doing, Wondrous?
That monster can kill us at any moment he wants. And I have not until now faced that. I don't have an answer for you. Not yet, Cass.
I understand, and I know that too, but the way I see it is, as long as I'm fighting for what I believe, I can die at any moment, and that won't be in vain. But while there's still a breath in my body, I'm going to keep working to destroy that monster.
As you say, destroy the monster, Cass, you feel this just little shiver in your shadow. Like a tingle in your spine. It's not an unfamiliar feeling.
Right.
Wanders listens to that, just gives a almost a half laugh. Says, I don't know what I believe. I don't know what I believe. And that's all he says.
Well, just know you're not alone. And that your friends are here.
Thank you, Cass.
Okay, and you guys finish your work, sort of collecting the bodies, cleaning what you can, making this place a little bit less horrifying, when Ash, Onyx, Irina, and Ismark show up. And I don't know if you guys want to roleplay these discussions or just have them out of character, but we have now kind of hit a moment where you all have some decisions to make. You've been kind of locked into one track, right? Since you left Barovia, a lot has happened, but it's been get Ismark and Arena to Vallaki, get it safe, and then deal with the fact that this church wasn't safe and maybe now it is and all that stuff. You have, however, a number of other story threads that have been sort of parsed in here. I will just tell you sort of full, an uncommon degree of DM transparency. All of these are options you can take. And that they will advance your goal. If you complete them without dying, they will advance your goal of getting stronger and fighting Strahd. So there's going back to the gallows to look for that thing that Ash thinks might be there, the first clue. There is going... The
winery.
There's the winery that the Mardikovs have asked you to help them with, which you now know has a potential significance for the safety of the town, in the sense that if the Mardikovs run out of wine, that may drastically damage the ability of the Keepers of the Feather to help you if their winery gets burned down and a bunch of them get killed by a mob. So that's kind of on the table. You have going north across the lake to Mount Baratok to look for the Mad Mage, who you think might be Onyx's mentor, and you have been invited to go possibly meet up with Rectavio for additional information or whatever at his tower, which is to the west in near the lake. What is it called? Near Lake Baratok. And you know that you could, if you wish, take Irina and Ismark to Kretsk, to the Abbey of St. Markovia, which is also rumored, like this place was, to maybe be safer from Strahd. So those are kind of the things that are on the table. Basically 5 options that you know of and have like leads on. So I don't know if you guys want to talk out of character to decide what your next steps are, or if you want to role play that. I'm fine with whatever you do, but those are kind of the things. Or you can stay in Vallaki and try and deal with the political
I agree
unrest.
with Ozzy. I think let's talk out of character and get through it.
Yeah, I just feel like it'd be quicker.
Sure, yeah.
So personally, I think we should kind of prioritize things based off one, do the easiest thing first because less likelihood to die, quicker to get done so we can move on to the next thing.
Okay.
While gaining, experience and levels in the process.
Sounds good to me. I think it would be wonderful if we could leave the townspeople in charge of repairing the church, and
I don't think we need to be a part of that.
and we either do one of the other things. It almost seems to me like Rictavio is further down the line, but maybe I'm wrong
Yeah,
about
that seems. I think that and Onyx's potential Onyx's mentor are probably later game things, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Personally, I think right now our two choices would be the gallows thing or the winery. I think those would probably be the two easier things to knock out.
Okay.
But
I'm
I mean,
up for-
obviously that's up for discussion.
I'm up for any of the things, but those sound like two good things to choose. The DM is telling us anything we
Yeah.
choose is going to advance the story. So,
Yeah, I mean, we could always like backtrack because I think that's really like kind of the furthest out of the way that we have to go somewhere for kind of like the quest, really, because unless we have plans on going back directly to the town of Barovia, I like going back to the
fair.
gallows probably would be the best bet. And then heading back, because everything else is pretty centralized around this town. So I think it'd be better just to get the gallows kind of done out of the way and then kind of finish up everything else.
I think that it's worth noting, and Ash, speaking as who's in Ash's mind, they're gonna be really, really zoned in on this whole prophecy, like fortune bullshit. But
Right.
like they're also really grasping on straws on, vengeance is really high on the priority list. You know what I'm saying? So anything to help kind of give us an edge, obviously, is super important to them. However, there's a chance we could go back there and it'd be absolutely nothing. Do I have a hunch that's the first clue? Yes, but I don't know.
And it could be, and that could I definitely think out of all of those we could eliminate going to Kretsk as of right now.
Yeah.
Because we've made I mean we've made this town relatively safe. We don't know if Kretsk is safe.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, just to kind of point it out, I think that we can probably gather a lot of allies for this end game. You know what I'm saying? I think it's pretty safe to say that's probably a part of the adventure. I don't know.
Yeah.
so you
obviously,
mean at some point we should get the wine, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So, like,
Because
for
that's going to
example,
get us allies.
one of the biggest reasons that we helped Arena Ismark, apart from my insatiable hero complex that I can't avoid, is that, Ismark's like, hey, listen, I'll fight next to you. And I mean, we're right on the cusp of having the Keepers of the Feather, or whatever their names are. They're in rebellion. If we can gain their allegiance, that's another group. Rictavio, Onyx's mentor. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole reason his mentor came here in the first place. So we could really utilize a powerful mage. Not that we don't already have one.
Oh, absolutely.
We can stack that.
Well, the
I
thing
say
about,
all of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I thought you were done. I was going to say the only thing I got to say about the hanging place is that we're closer to it now than we're going to be if we go anywhere else. Except
That's what I was
if we
thinking,
go
too.
get the wine, we're coming back to here, obviously. So there is that too. So I'm with whoever said those are our two choices, and I'm not sure it matters which order we do them in.
I don't think it does either.
Very valid. I just wanted to mention that if you ask Ash, that's what they're going to want to do first, because that's like going to be, they can't stop thinking about this fortune. So
Right. So
now, out of character, I think that it's all great.
So personally, my vote would be the winery first, because that's something concrete. We know it'll help us. And then we can go check out the gallows.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a point. And it might keep the town from falling apart.
Yeah.
And if the people in the bar know we're going for wine and the people in town start getting upset, they can say wine is coming, I guess. Okay.
I mean, but I'm also open to whatever the group decides to. That's just my recommendation.
But if we go to get the wine, let's agree that the noose is next before we get any further away.
Yeah, definitely plan, one step ahead.
So maybe the next question to ask is which is which is closer. You know what I'm saying? Because like we were able to make it back to the windmill, and within a day we were at the windmill and back, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, Mr. DM.
I think
I'm
right now the
working on
winery is actually closer than the gallows.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, you are following the road. You are approximately 15 miles from the gallows. From
Okay.
here to the winery, on the other hand, yeah, you're like 7 miles from the winery. 7.3. So it's twice as far to the crossroads with the gallows as it is to the winery.
So if we go to the gallows first, there's more chance when we get back to town that all hell is going to have broken
Yeah, let's
loose.
look at travel pace, because that's a factor here, right?
It'd probably take us about a day and a half.
Yeah, so travel pace, normal pace is 24 miles a day. So, and you're at 30 miles, right? So you'll get like all the way there and half of the way back. Yeah, so a day and a half.
And I mean,
is
that's
correct. So
that's only if we don't spend time there
right.
with whatever happens when we get there.
And then you can make it there and back from the winery, provided that you don't get stuck there. Also, presumably, unless for some reason they're all dead, there would be people at this winery. Like, somebody makes the wine. Like, you don't know who it is. Like, he might have told. I don't think he's told you who it is. But there are presumably like humans and not monsters who make the wine, right? So, there may be a chance that like something's gone wrong, but if you can resolve it, you might be safe there to like stay and come back. Or you could try and do it all in one day. It's hard to say what it will be, but that bears
So I think
factoring.
with that,
Versus like if you make it all the way to the sorry not to interrupt, but if you make it all the way to the gallows and start coming back, you'll have to spend the night on the road, or you'll have to just go into the village of Barovia and spend the night and then come back. So
oh,
Yeah.
oof, oofage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
guys, what's it gonna be?
I'm totally cool to figure out this wine shipment thing first.
And then let's agree now, so we don't have to go through this all again, unless we all die or some horrible thing, to make the gallows the next priority before we get any further away from it.
Well, I definitely want to make sure I hear from Omega here on this, because listen, you got a whole story arc coming up, Bub, and I don't want to like push
very
that
true.
further out.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's fine. That's fine with me. So I don't have any issues with it. I think it'd be, I think definitely doing the winery and then the gallows, because I feel like the gallows are probably going to be something that we won't ever see again, unless we have to go back and fight Strahd for some reason there. But so we can definitely do the winery and then go to the gallows, and then from there we can choose our kind of next.
Well, and then we can put your thing next in line. Let's kind of, we don't know what's going to happen, but that would kind of make it, with what we know now, to sort of have a priority lined up might make it easier later.
Yeah,
I think
because
Rick Tavio is 100% like the last thing, because he's going to be there. So it's
he's just going to be there. So
and plus
we almost have him as an ally already, right? So it's just going to be go collect him and go, maybe, hopefully. Oh, God. David, stop it.
I cannot be stopped.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of crossroads that pop up in the near future. But what I was going to say, too, is if push comes to shove, like that clue's probably been sitting back there at that gallows for the last 100 years. So it ain't going anywhere. But,
Well,
for sure.
Good point. Good point.
But
I feel like
something
at
to
the end
kind
of
of
the day,
consider.
we're going to have to go further away from Barovia before we go back. So doing the winery and then going to the gallows, I feel like it'll probably help us knock out multiple birds with one stone.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that, before we completely skip over top of it, what if we find the first clue, but like we've already been to the place where the second clue's at? That'd be that'd be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Assuming there's a clue there in the first place.
Yeah,
okay,
we don't even know.
I'm really stressed. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to the winery first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm stressed.
Okay, so here is where things stand. So I think whether you stay the night here in the chapel amongst the blood or not, and whether you go back to the inn, I don't really care. You guys are going to get a long rest at this point.
Yeah.
Strahd
Gotcha.
is back in his tower, and he is not coming back out just to play footsie with you guys at the moment.
I mean, I wish, but
And then Irina and Ismark are going to stay and try to help convince people to rebuild the church, and are going to probably agree to keep an eye on Yeska, who wants to stay, with the church more than not. And the Keepers of the Feather are going to do their best to try to keep some kind of a lid on the political situation. But that'll be what it'll be. Do you guys stick around for like the funeral stuff? Do you go ahead and take off and trust that Irina and Yeska and the townspeople and the Mardikovs can handle that? What is your plan?
depending on when it happens, because I feel like, I mean, they don't have a priest to preside over the funerals at this point, and I feel like Cass would kind of be pulled to fill that role if necessary.
Okay.
But that being said, time dependent, Cass would probably just say a blessing over the bodies and then go about her way.
Okay.
The only thing that I have left that I want to do is make sure to have a conversation with the Arena Ismark. This name's in chat. We just seen it. Where's it at? Where'd it go?
Erwin.
Erwin and Danica or whatever. And also, obviously, have a conversation with Yes. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out thing. I just want to make sure that they're going to keep an eye on him, and he's going to be okay. Obviously, that's my whole gig. Here we are.
Yeah. I think as far as you can tell, that Yeska will be as safe as any of those people will be. So that is what you think is the case. They will between them and the Mardikovs, someone will be keeping an eye on them.
Okay, for sure.
So.
Well, like I said, as long as we get to have a small conversation with Yes before we head out, I'm good.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so they don't have a priest. I think they are amenable to burning the bodies at the recommendation of you guys. I think between the Mardikovs, they're able to convince people that that's fine. And I think they would probably do it the next morning. This is Barovia, and if you don't do those things, then they come back as monsters. So,
Yeah.
So I get. So if you stick around, Cass, it's a pretty quiet, somber affair. People are, very sad about all this. You get and you guys, if you go to the funeral, you get a sense of where the town is at, which is just totally shocked. They basically were living in this like dream world where they were kind of safe. As much as everybody hated putting up with the dumb festivals or whatever, they weren't getting, attacked by Strahd. So it was like something was working, whatever it was, right? Now that is shattered. So you see people just fully in the stages of like grief and shock and denial and like totally, en masse, really struggling with all this. But it is what it is. So if you guys want to go ahead and head out after the funeral, which takes place in the morning, like I said. Also, the traditional religion of this place is to worship the morning lord, so the ceremonies would happen in the morning,
Okay.
Then we can move on to move on to the map screen. Let me just drag you guys to Barovia. I think I can drag you to my cursor there, I hope.
Yep.
I see it.
Okay, so you guys are going to head out to the west, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to reveal some stuff here. That you probably can see. At least, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and reveal all of that. That's fine. Okay. And then I might as well reveal this as well as you go. Okay, so let's see. I've done this before because I need to know, and it's kind of annoying that sometimes I don't. I need to know. It's like every hour on the road, every 30 minutes on the road, you have a chance for an encounter. I gotta look at travel pace. Are you guys traveling at a normal pace or a fast pace? What's your plan here?
Probably normal, right?
Okay.
Since it's only 7 miles.
So if you're going 3 miles in an hour, you're going 1.5 miles every half an hour. So from the town. Okay. So a couple of things that we'll tell you here. You can make it. I'll just make a little note for myself. That you can make it there. And we'll do our reveals.
Oh, shoot. We probably should make sure that we long rest. Yeah.
Yes,
All
go
right,
ahead.
please.
You do get your long rest, so go ahead and reset all your abilities and everything. Okay, so the first thing is...
And we need to know if we're traveling with he or she, Oz.
You mean Ash?
Ash, thank you.
Yeah, you gotta do your...
I was thanking Oz for all those
And-
subs, and I got my name wrong.
And no worries.
Yeah.
You'll make it, Chief.
Okay.
So, I got that black lung, man.
I don't have a thing to roll.
Yeah, if you... Oh, yeah, because you're not on your token. Here, let me just give you one. Yeah, that's you. Okay. There you go. Roll your token.
I forgot how to do it. It's fine.
You right-click,
Okay.
you go to multi-sided at the bottom, and then you say choose random side, I think.
Hey, we're fem today.
Okay, we are back to Fem Ash today. Very good. Okay, so yeah, you all head out from Valaki. And I guess I can turn off the sad castle music now. Because you're not in a sad castle. You're on the road.
On the road again.
Make it something major. We need a boost.
I don't think I
Play
have.
Willie Nelson.
That's
Oh.
not exactly what I meant. That's
I really honestly don't think I have basic. I guess this one might be. It's probably not the right vibe, though. But I really don't think I have anything like happy sounding.
fine. I get it.
Yeah, so you all leave the town of Valaki by the west gate, and not too far outside of town, the road, you cross over a bridge, crossing the river Luna, or the Luna River, sorry. And you can see a goodly ways in either direction. You can see, on the way to the south, that there is a sort of trail that runs down by the river. You're not totally sure where it goes, but there is sort of like it starts off at a trail and then peters off into around the bottom of this mountain that you kind of can't really see. And then you see that the road comes to an X intersection. You also, can see to the north that the river is fed by an offshoot of Lake Zarovich, which is also fed from further north as well. And you can kind of see to the edge of the Svalich what's on the other side. And then you come to this crossroads, where, like I said, you see this X intersection. You can see branches to your northwest, which are here. You can see branches to your southeast here, and branches to the southwest here. You guys came in from the northeast direction. you can see the lower half of a snapped wooden signpost thrusting upward at an angle near the eastern elbow of the intersection. The top half of the sign, featuring arms pointing in 4 directions, lies in the weeds nearby.
All right, which way is this winery?
Well, they would have told us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what's the sign say? I mean, I'm gonna look at the sign. I can't
so you
not
look at the sign. The sign has the names Kretsk, Tsolenka Pass, Lake Baratok, Balaki, Ravenloft, and Berez on it. So it's got a couple of names. How do you intend to figure out which ones actually go in which direction?
If I remember what Jeffrey said, I'm pretty sure we just keep straight.
Yes, Jeffrey
Don't
did
take me
tell
that
you
it's been
that.
a while.
Yeah,
I
Jeffrey
can't
did
remember
tell
off
you
the top of my head.
to continue straight.
So if we put the sign up with the thing pointing, where did he say the winery was?
Southwest as you look at this intersection, like going straight.
But did he say it was at the name of one of those places, or he didn't?
He did not, no.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
then I think we just prop the sign up and keep going.
Yeah, if you try to like stick the sign connecting to the lower half and match it up, you can see that obviously Barovia, Lake Bear, Valaki and Ravenloft are to the northeast, right? You see it says Berez to the southeast, which is this way. You have never heard that name before. You don't know what that is. And you hear Kretsk and Tsolenka Pass to the southwest, which is the way that you have been instructed to go. And you can see this Lake Baratok to the northwest. So if you are trying to get to the winery, they have instructed you to go straight through.
Okay.
I would, however, someone to roll for me a 20-sided dice, please.
I got it.
Okay. On a 5, you don't have an encounter here. So, you make your way, or is your plan to go straight through as you were instructed?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You get about another half mile into the woods. I would like someone to roll me another check. Another D20.
Okay.
Oh,
go ahead.
he's telling me to.
Whoever.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Wanda's rolled a 10.
On a 10, you continue to make your way through the woods. We kind of show you some of these things here. I think you'll probably get at least that far. Okay. Okay, you now make it to another crossroads. There is one that goes northwest and one that goes southeast here. Also, please roll for me another check. And we'll say you guys got started at like noon after having to do all the morning stuff. So you have made it. Okay. On a 2, you continue on your journey. Are you guys going to carry on? Do you remember what they told you about this crossroads?
I can't off the top of my head. I know Jeffrey told me, but...
Okay. I guess that would have been yesterday, but you have had a lot of stuff happen. So, but you guys did talk about it. So, everyone in the party can make either a history check or just a raw intelligence check. If you're not proficient in history, those will just be the same thing. So, I guess you can just all make history checks if you would like. Okay. Okay. That's 3 out of 4. 7. Okay. With a 14, you got those instructions like yesterday, so I think you probably can remember that they told you to continue going straight, to not take the left fork. Therefore, we can show you some more of this. Oh, okay. You're gonna see up. You're gonna see up here. You're gonna see over there. Okay. So let's see. Boom, boom. Okay, you now come to the next crossroads, which is a big, confusing crossroads. As you travel, and again, you're traveling through Barovia, so you do have, and actually I need to know how far you've gone. That's 0.8 miles. So, someone help me remember that. You make your way to this next crossroads, just ahead of a bridge, so you can see, that there was a way to the north that you could have gone. You can see here what, by your description, must be Lake Baratok. You can see a tower there in the distance, which is probably what, what's-his-face was telling you to find. I'm also just, you haven't been this way, but I'm just going to reveal that because you can surmise how that works. So that's the way to what's-his-face's tower. From here, you can see further down this direction. You can probably see about that far that there appears to be another road leading basically south from here. You can also see, if you continue on this way, it splits again, one going kind of southwest, one going kind of northwest. So you see a weather-worn signpost here. You see that the one pointing south says Dolinka Pass. You see that the one pointing southwest reads Wizard of Wines. And you see the one pointing north reads Kretsk. So, of those, it seems like the winery is following this southwesterly path.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
You guys were like here before, so I'm gonna actually just... Oh, okay. That actually works. Okay, I also need another roll.
Hey, what's my turn?
Yep.
18? Oh, God.
Okay, and on an 18, I need a different roll.
Oh no.
I need a D12 plus a D8 from you, who rolled the 18.
Oh, God. I would like to point out that I think my passive perception's a lot higher nowadays. Just saying. Anyway, you need a
1d12 plus 1d8.
1d12, and then you can do like plus 1d8, and it'll do
Yes.
it. Right?
Yep. Slash R 1d12 plus 1d8 should roll both at once.
See if I did that right.
Okay.
7 total.
Okay. Okay. As you travel along the path, you catch a distant tingling melody carried to you on the wind. You hear a jangle of a bell.
Okay.
You Make a perception check.
18.
Around the bend, coming across the bridge, you catch sight of a brightly colored wagon. And you hear the distinctive sound of voices. It sort of carries on. Are there any preparations you want to make, or are you just going to kind of like wait for this thing to approach you?
What do you guys think? Should we hide? There's a wagon coming.
I almost think we should hide.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted, bonus
yeah.
mom. You're muted, bonus mom. Sorry. There you go.
Wanderous will dart towards whatever side of the road Onyx goes on.
I'd probably just go for the closest and try to hide into the trees and bushes.
Okay. Yeah. I guess we're gonna hide.
Okay.
Are we all getting on the same side or two different sides of the road?
Oh, damn. You know that's actually a pretty good idea.
I almost think opposite sides.
Yeah, 2 and 2.
I'll go south to the south part of the woods.
Okay, then Onyx and I'll do north.
Yep.
If that's okay, Onyx.
Mhm. Yep, that works.
Okay. So you guys are hiding. Please make your stealth checks.
Do what?
You're hiding. Please make stealth checks.
Stealth. Okay, thank you.
That's a 20 for Ash. Oh, Jesus Christ. Naturally.
Okay, so we have we have one good roll, 2 bad rolls. I'm waiting for one more roll. Okay.
15.
2 decent rolls. So let's, real quick, we're just going to average those rolls. We got a 20, 15, 11, 1 divided by 4. That is an average of an 11.75. We're going to round that down to 11.
I have a -2 for stealth.
And we're going to make...
Oh, thank God.
Damn. So, you all hide in the woods off the side of the road as this wagon carries through. And you can hear from the inside just sort of like jovial sounds, singing songs. You smell a strong scent of alcohol. Cass,
read
make
what's
a
on this-
perception check for me.
Okay. 7.
7. Yeah, you smell some alcohol and whatnot. What were you about to ask, Ash?
Can we read what the side of the wagon says?
Oh, it doesn't have words on it. No, it's just a big
Oh.
like covered kind of carnival wagon. It looks like the Vistani wagons from the
Can
other
we see
encampment.
who's driving it by?
Sure, yeah, you can see who it is. You do not recognize this person, but
But it
they
is a
do seem.
person?
Yes, this is. Hang on, where's my notes on this? Oh, come on, I know. Hang on. Where did I... I'm sorry. I know that I made notes on some examples of these folks. No idea where I put it. What a fool I am.
Well, while you're looking, I have a question you could be pondering,
Okay, sure.
which is wagons that are loaded down, really loaded down, like with kegs of wine or whatever, I would think would travel very differently than just lightly loaded wagons, with a couple of people in there that are drunk. So do we get an idea of this is a heavy laden wagon or if it's just a wagon with people in it?
Sure. So, my question is this. I'm going to be honest. I doubt Wandress has enough experience with wagons to have a sense of that. I don't know if anyone else in the party is more wagon.
we heard that the wine was delayed. So I
Right.
guess what I'm getting at, and Wanderers knows that there would be a possibility that it was a wagon of wine.
Right.
So he's looking for any signs of that. Like as it doesn't seem heavily laden or whatever. So he's going to be peeking at it as best
I mean,
he
that's
can.
a good point.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is I just don't think that Wanderous has enough in his background that would allow him to even make that role, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Somebody else might be able to, but I just don't think Wanderous, like, you could know this would be heavier if a bunch of stuff was in it, but, like, you'd have to know what a light one and a heavy one looked and sounded like, I think. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
to really be able to just tell it. Like, if you could compare two of them and watch them move, you could say that one's heavier than that one, right? But, like, if you're purely in the abstraction thinking, does this look like a heavily or lightly laden wagon, I don't think you have enough reference point.
Okay.
I doubt that this would help, but I have the feature Tinker due to my race.
Okay. What does that feature say?
Basically, I have proficiency with Tinker tools. Basically, I can create like small little like contraptions. I doubt it's gonna help.
Well,
I'd figured I'd ask.
I mean,
because
I think
basically I can create a device like if I have the 10 gold pieces worth of the materials plus 1 hour.
Yeah. The question I've got is more background related. Like, whoever can do this has experience with watching carts move.
Yeah.
So whether that's somebody who lived in a
That's
town
fair.
where people came and went, or worked on a farm or something, right? So in Onyx's background, you were most of what we know is that you were being trained by your mentor in the woods.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have
species wise,
like, too
your
much
people
knowledge.
come from beneath the earth, like ancestrally, right? And are miners and stuff. But I don't know how far Onyx is removed from that, and I don't know what Onyx's experience with wagons would be. So
I'm not like I guess I'm a little bit more removed.
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't know.
I'm gonna say, Cass. I don't think you do either, given what I know about your background. So I'm gonna leave this up to Ash. What do you think that that Ash and Thorin spent any time like hitching rides on wagons between towns, or like anything in their upbringing? Because we haven't really talked about like because Ash was raised by dwarves. We haven't talked about what that circumstance was. If they were like hill dwarves who mostly lived above ground, if they were like mountain dwarves who lived, beneath the earth. We haven't really talked about that. So,
what was Thorin though? Let's go ahead and just ask the question. Was it a mountain or a hill dwarf? I can't.
Let's find out. I don't think I've deleted the sheet. Have I? Maybe I have.
Oh,
Bum, bum, bum.
In the arms.
Well, he's not in the PCs anymore, so I don't know where I put him.
Well, rip.
Maybe I stuck him at the bottom here,
Rip.
hiding him. I think he was a mountain dwarf, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's what I'll say. I know that we grew up in the dwarven town or whatever that we were in. I do want to say that our parents were of like higher standing in the community, not necessarily like the mayor or the king or the
Right.
whatever in that society. But I don't think that we left out on our journey until we were both well into our like adulthood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, we spend time
and we've
around
kind of
the Dwarven
established
town?
that this is your early part of your journey too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think any of you really have a great sense.
Yep,
So
fair
it is
enough.
entirely possible that the thing is chock full of wine. I don't know that any of you really could tell that just from looking at the outside of it. So, but yeah, you do see the person who is kind of driving the wagon is a sort of late 30s looking human male, kind of with like short curly red hair, kind of sunburned skin, seems pretty tall, and is kind of appears to be telling some sort of ghost story to the other travelers. They're sort of like he's making spooky voices, and they're sort of like oohing and ahhing over this thing.
All right. I've got an idea. I don't love it, but it's my idea.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. I'm gonna whisper to Cass, stay here. Wait for my mark.
Say less.
And I'm gonna kind of like
was-
casually stroll out into the road.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
as you stroll out into the road, the wagon sort of like, slows down, and the storyteller says, pardon me, miss. Don't see too many travelers on these roads.
Oh yes, I've most certainly noticed. Sorry if I startled you. I know the nature of the place and was kind of worried whenever I seen or heard somebody coming down the road. Where are you guys headed?
Make a, I guess, persuasion check.
With a +5 for being pretty lady. Just kidding.
I
Persuasion.
mean, if you've got a +5, then sure.
Nah, I'm just doing a third.
21.
That is 12. Yes, baby.
Yeah, so he sort of kind of looks at you and says, well, we're just headed on back to our camp.
Vistani?
Yes, we're caravanners.
Oh, nice. We actually visited the camp up past Lake Sear, something like that.
The Sayre pool.
That's
Yep,
what it
the
was.
Sayre pool.
We visited the camp actually. It's a really cool setup you guys got.
Hang on. Stand by, everyone. One moment. Sorry, friends. I'm looking for something I'm not finding. Yeah, okay. He says, right, well, yeah, that's probably our most permanent campment. Sometimes we set up in other places, if it's safe. But pardon me, but what's a young lady like yourself doing traveling alone out here?
So I'm traveling out of Valaki. The bartenders there happen to mention that they were expecting a wine shipment from the winery out this way somewhere. And being the adventurer that I am, decided that, I would look into it for them. Do you guys know where the winery is? I'm glad I caught you. I'm kind of turned around with all these crossroads.
He says, "Oh yeah, I see. Can't read. That's tough. A lot of folk here can't." He sort of points to the signpost and says, points to the signpost that points to the south and says, that says Wizard of Wines. That's the winery there. Oh, it's not too much farther on in the woods.
You guys haven't seen anything weird, right? Like something that may cause a wine shipment to go missing? I'd like to kind of insight, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
See if it's getting uncomfortable in any sort of way.
Okay. Yeah, make a check.
Insight is 24.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you get a pretty good read on this individual. You're asking like more questions than most people ask, right? He doesn't seem to be like lying to you or anything when he says Well, you know, you're liable to see all kinds of things around these parts, but I ain't seen anything particular about something at the winery, though we don't get much chance to make our way over there. So I frankly don't know too much about it.
And like you said, I don't think that he's lying. I don't feel like maybe he's involved.
No, you don't get any sense of that with your 24. And you feel like you got a pretty good read on him, so. Like,
Excellent.
you asking all these questions about the wine, he's not reacting like a person with a trunk full of wine being asked.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just seems much more upfront than
one
that.
had to make sure. Otherwise, there went our treasure trove right down the road. So,
yeah.
Cool.
And he says, well, if you ever, if you need a guide or anything around, we know these lands pretty well. I'm sure someone in our encampment would be happy to show you around. Our services don't come for free, of course, but if you're someone who can wander around this place on your own, you might be safe enough, but you also might be able to afford our services. For 100 gold, we'd be happy to serve as your guides.
gosh, I super appreciate that. Unfortunately, I'm waiting to get paid by the barkeep in Vlaki before I'll have the extra cash, but I'm sure that I'll make it fine. You said it's just south at this fork here?
Yeah, you want the fork to the southwest. Take the left fork at the bridge.
Well, excellent. I'm sorry for having to take up so much of your time. It's just not often that I've seen a somewhat friendly face, and I figured it was safe to chat with you for a bit.
And he sort of tips his head, and the cart carries onward. And you all can make your way further south. Let's see.
There's a lot of build up, huh? Oh, they was just chilling. Had to know though.
Okay. All right. I need one more roll.
I can do it.
I did the last one and gave us all a panic attack, so I'm good.
17.
Oh God.
On a 17, you make your way through the woods. And you come out.
There ain't no damn rhyme or reason to these numbers, is there? You're just screwing with us.
You make your way through the woods, and you come out seeing the Wizard of Wine's winery. You can see in the distance. Nope, don't do that. At that. There it is. Yeah, so after a little ways coming south from the crossroads, the road kind of becomes a muddy trail that sort of meanders through the woods, descending gradually until the trees part, revealing a sort of mist-shrouded meadow. This trail from here actually splits. One heads further west, kind of directly into the valley towards this building, and one leads south into dark woods. You do see another signpost at the intersection, which points west and reads Vineyard.
Looks like we're in the right place.
Yep.
I take it you all head towards the vineyard?
I mean, we've not seen any broke down wagons, and those guys seem chill, so this is our next best bet, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. As you move on the trail towards the vineyard, a light drizzle begins to fall. Unpainted fences blindly follow the trail, which skirts north of a sprawling vineyard before bending south towards a stately building. The The fog takes on ghostly forms as it swirls between the neatly tended rows of grapevines. Here and there, you see rope-handled half-barrels used for hauling grapes. North of the trail, as you make your way around, is a large stand of trees. A man wearing a dark cloak and cowl stands at the edge of the trees. He sees you approach and beckons you to him.
Well, let's go, I guess.
And can I use message from here? It's 120 feet.
Yeah, you can get within 120 feet and message.
I'd be like, hey, who are you?
Hi, you.
My name is Adrian Martikov. Who are you? Come to our vineyard.
My name is Onyx, and we're here to investigate missing wine deliveries.
So Erwin sent you, did he?
Yes.
Lazy bastard sends other people to his own work. Well, come with us. And he sort of gestures into the trees.
Okay. I'll relay like the name of the individual and say that he was expecting Erwin to come himself, but that like we can just go ahead and follow him. I couldn't really tell. Could I roll an insight check, I guess?
Sure, yeah, you can inside him.
14.
14. Yeah, you don't know, like, it would be weird for him to just lie to any random person without knowing who it is and say that that's who he was. Like, so
Yeah.
you don't really get a sense that he's lying or anything. He seems to be honest.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and let the party know, like, hey, like, I didn't really get any bad vibes when I was talking with him, so.
Good enough for me.
Okay.
And then I'll probably lead since I was talking to him.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you guys make your way over into the trees, and he leads you on into the center of this thicket of trees, where you can see a number of individuals in a small encampment. You see an old man in sort of a kind of weathered green cloak and hood. You see this individual, Adrian, who kind of brings you in. You can see that there are like two whole families of people here, basically. There are several children. One of the women has a young baby. There's like, it's like a whole little crew out here. And you see this old man who Adrian kind of leads you over to him and says, right, Father, this is, these people say they've been sent by Erwin. He says, Erwin, that boy ain't got no sense. Sending strangers. And, do his own work, is he?
Hey, man, we just here to perform a service. You know what I mean, man?
Well, who are y'all?
My name's Cass.
What? I mean, that's not how Cass usually talks, right? So,
Well, y'all done went and brought out the redneck in me, so this is what y'all get now.
well, so I guess what I'm asking is, like, is this a bit or is this an attempt on Cass's part to ingratiate herself with these people by speaking in a similar fashion?
Oh no, this is a bit.
This is a bit. Okay, very good. So he, because I've probably had players do things like that before. And he says, so Erwin sent you all about the wine, did he?
Yep.
Well, sort of like sucks his teeth for a second and says, pack of evil druids and weird twig monsters have attacked the winery.
Is that why you guys are all out here in the woods?
Yeah, we're not the best warriors you'll find, and well, they had us overrun. We won't be able to do anything about shipping wine out of here till we get that taken care of. But we're at our wits' end. We don't know.
About what direction they head?
Well, they're still in the winery.
Well, boys, we already know where this is going. Let's go get them.
When you say evil
Yeah.
druids, I don't think we should just run up in this one.
Yeah.
What do you? Where do they come from? I mean, do you know who they are? They just randomly showed up.
Make a persuasion check.
That's 12.
That's a 12. He says, oh, I don't know why they attacked or nothing. They come up from the south, but
Well, if one of us go in and run them out, the rest of us can ambush them.
I think there might be too many for that. You'll have to be careful.
How many you reckon?
I guess I'm gonna make an intelligence check for this guy. Or a perception check. He says, well, I've been in there for a couple days and they can summon little creatures, animate wood and other plant material.
All right. Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if the whole vineyard's honestly full of little horrors. Every time we try to get close, they come boiling out of the trees at us.
Well, 100 gold and a case of wine each. We'll take care of the bastards for you.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage. Brutal, that's a 7. He says, look, I don't know whatever deal you got going on with Erwin, but either do what he sent you to do here or don't. But I ain't gonna let nobody extort me for access to my own wine.
The sad part is I rolled in that 20.
It really is, yeah. For those watching at home who
Without
didn't see that, there was a 23 and a 7.
I think that Ash would look to Wondrous. Do you know what they could be summoning in? Do you have any idea what the creatures could be?
Do I have any idea what the creatures could be?
Haven't you guys had an encounter with plant creatures in this campaign?
We've seen the animated scarecrows.
Who remembers that?
So you don't
yeah.
have any idea. I don't think. I mean, Wondrous, you might be able to make like a nature check to draw on your druidic knowledge or something.
Okay, did he say? Oh, yeah. All right. Nature check. Wondrous rolled a 7.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, you know that there's a lot of ways that a druid could, call upon nefarious plant-based beings. You would never mess around with that stuff, so you don't know. It's hard to say specifically what it is, but you do know there are ways to do stuff like that.
I could call up a wild companion to check the place out and see what I saw if you wanted.
It would definitely help to kind of have an idea of what we're getting into. That way we can make a plan of action. If we're gonna, I mean, we said we'd come find out.
Wait a minute.
You know what I mean?
I'm not sure that my wild companion is one of those things that I can monitor and see what they see or anything. Is it? It's more somebody that fights with me, Mr. DM.
Are there any animals around?
A wild companion has the same effects as Find Familiar. So all the stuff that you know can be done with Find Familiar could be done with your wild companion.
Okay. Do I have Find Familiar as a spell?
I think I put it on there for you. I don't know. Let's take a look. No, but I can put it in chat.
Okay, put it in chat and let's see what it'll do for me. I haven't used that. I started to the other time and it was going to take an action. So.
Yeah. And the casting time is different for you. It's a big, long spell, but for you, it's only an action to cast and uses your wild shape, and you don't need the material components.
Okay, as long as it's within 100 feet of me, I can communicate with it telepathically. I can see. So I can see through Familiar's eyes as long as, and I can see through it and hear what it hears until the start of my next turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the winery is pretty far away. I mean, you could wild shape yourself into like an animal and try to go in there. Although if you get attacked, you would be far away from your friends. I don't know if I don't think at level 4 you can have a fly speed yet, so you can't do like an overhead. So I think it's really out of the range that you can commune with your wild companion, because I think once it gets far enough away, you can't really keep seeing through its.
But they're kind of indicating if they even head in that direction, things start coming out at them, right? But not that far out.
I mean, you could start sending it toward, like, you guys could go to the edge of the trees and send it over there and see if you see anything.
Well, are there any animals around?
I mean, I guess, sure.
Like a bird or something?
Yeah, there probably are birds around. Like ravens and stuff, and,
Ooh, ravens,
and...
my people. Frogs?
No, I don't think that. Well, the frogs would be in like marshier lands.
Okay,
in lower lying areas. I don't think there'd be a lot of frogs there.
So, I mean, I can cast Speak with Animals and see if I can get them to check it out. That way you don't have to use your familiar, Wanderous, if you want. I mean, if you want to use your familiar, that's fine, but...
Well, I actually have Speak with Animals, but didn't prepare it. But when you have Speak with Animals, do they speak back at you, or is it the one they just understand?
Yeah, so you have the Speech of Beast and Leaf, which is a furbolg sort of ancestral ability.
Yeah, but I also have Speak with Animals.
Right, so Speech of Beast and Leaf does not let them speak back to you. Speak with Animal does. So.
Okay.
I've got it prepared.
I didn't prepare Speak with Beast and Animals, but anyway.
Okay. So why don't we do this? Because we're actually kind of right at time, and this is a good enough spot here, I think. You all sort of stand in the in like the small clearing with this little encampment of these Mardikovs who are pretty bedraggled and downtrodden looking, but also sort of standoffish and grumpy. Particularly Davian, who has been introduced to you as the sort of patriarch of this little crew. And you know that there are some foul things in the... That's the wrong sheet. That's the one I want. You know that there are some foul things in the winery to the south. And I think that's where we will resume next time, is with you guys going on to investigate to see what you can find out. And... going on from there. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. What a session. Oh, absolutely rocked that vampire. Good lord. Truly got nowhere. Such a shift from how untouchable Strahd was to how this thing just got absolutely completely wrecked. But yeah,
have the
great
winds
stuff.
to lift you up and keep you going. You know
Yeah,
what
we
I'm
had a
saying?
slight reveal with Yeska's development. Thanks to that Nat 20 religion check. And then you guys have sort of taken your first step as a more active and less reactive little crew here. So we've had quite a lot happen tonight. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. We are going to do our usual sign off. If someone will help me find somebody for us to go and raid, that would be delightful. But in the meantime, we are going to do our usual sign off. So, we're going to start. Just have you guys go back around and introduce yourselves and your characters. Remind folks of your characters and who you are and where you can be found on the internet. And then we will do our sign off. Starting, of course, with our Lord and Savior Vincent Page.
Somebody's got to help y'all is all I got to say to that. Anyway, I am Vincent Page. You can find me all over the place at Vincent Page, but particularly here on Twitch, doing the streams every day. Besides the days that I'm here doing this every other Friday, you know. I've been Ash Fireforge, the Changeling Rogue, and I look forward to hopefully, you know, be hashtag winning next session.
Excellent news. Omega, whose name I did not even briefly consider saying as Onyx.
Heck yeah.
Chalk one in the win column for Pixel.
Hey y'all, my name is Omega. I played Onyx Montarik tonight, the Bladesong Wizard. You can find me here every other Friday. You can also find me on TikTok at OmegaMT42. Just all one word, no special characters. So yeah, definitely was a fun session. So
Huzzah. Ozzy.
I'm Ozzy. I play Cass Amble Crown, the Ancient's Paladin, and this was a pretty fun session.
Hurrah. And of course, Bonus Mom.
Hi, I'm Bonus Mom, and I have played Wanderess, the Circle of Stars Druid, and I will be back next Friday night with the Region of Bedegar playing Perdita, the Tabaxi Rogue. Meanwhile, this Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can find me on TikTok with a couple of other folks playing backstory challenges, where we come up with backstories at the drop of a hat for D&D characters. And then on this next Tuesday night at about 7 p.m. in Bonus Mom's chat on Discord, we are going to be talking about other tabletop role-playing games and how we might start to investigate and learn more about those and ultimately play them. Please join us. It's a wide open discussion, and we would love to have you there.
Yes. And of course, my name is Pixel. And I have been your Game Master this evening. I have been your sad but brave little boy and also your horrible vampire monster. And you can find me here at Ages of Einor, where I GM a lot of our games. You will also be able to find me trying to teach you guys how to play new games, because that is sort of my commitment as a game master who runs a lot of games, to try to spread games beyond D&D due to all this stuff with the OGL that we don't have to rehash here. So come check us out. You'll be able to find me in the AOA streams where we are learning those things. I will be starting that off and kicking it off. And my hope is that other GMs will learn other systems and come and teach me how to play those, and we'll kind of hit each other back and forth and hopefully spread out some new exciting systems and learning how to do a lot of different things. So my plan at the moment is to start with Stars Without Number and Kids on Brooms. Both of which are very different from D&D in terms of just overall vibe. I think that'll be fun. And we'll start with those kind of mechanically and go from there. You can also find me here on Twitch, Hammer Pixel. And I stream games. We are still going to be doing Jedi Fallen Order playthroughs, for the next, week and a half till we finish it up. Who knows? And you can, of course, find our Discord if you have not already joined that, where I run some games. Once a month, I'm going to try to run games. as well as we have a lot of other GMs who are running stuff. We have some ongoing campaigns. We have some one-shots. We have lots of stuff going on. So it should be very good and very fun. And if you are listening to this on like YouTube or something and you found us there by some miracle, you can join that Discord. It's in our link tree. So, that all having been said, did anyone find anybody we could possibly raid?
So I found somebody that's streaming D&D. I'm posting their link in the chat now.
Okay, you might just need to post their username. Oh, you got their link. Okay. I'm gonna say it might not let you post the link, but that's...
I mean,
but it
didn't
did.
really have a lot of people watching them, so I think it'd be pretty cool to raid them. But I have no idea who these people are. So, but they're playing D&D.
Sure. So, let's see. Well, they've been live for 3 hours, so I feel like they're actually probably maybe not going to be.
Yeah, I didn't pay any attention to that, honestly.
It's okay. I did see someone who's playing. They had a few more viewers, but they were playing in Barovia as well.
Ooh, that's fitting.
But I don't know how long they've been going either. They were doing like a Ravenloft game, although I might have... Okay, there's one. Let me see how long they've been live. Well, they've been live for like 2 hours. So we
where do you see how long they've been live? I just found one that's doing a charity.
Okay.
Okay.
But I don't know how long.
If you click and go into their thing, you should be able to see how long they've been live.
An hour and a half.
Okay. What's their name?
Gut Punch RP. All little letters. Gut Punch RP. You want me to put it in this chat?
I'm already following them, so we must have rated them in the past.
They're doing Darkness Rising, a charity donate.
Oh.
For LGBTQIA.
Yeah, sure. Let's go raid Gut Punch, friends. Thanks everybody for hanging out. As always. Oh, you found one, Onyx.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, you got yours. Okay. Okay, friends. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. We much appreciate it. It's honestly amazing that all of you will sit around and put up with this absolute nonsense that we do every week. Just to see Vincent play D&D. And to get to see me be a sad little boy. But truly, it means the world to us that you all hang out and enjoy our stories. We really, really appreciate it. And in the meantime, until I see you again, if you could just do me a little favor and be, maybe just start with 5% kinder to yourself than what you usually are. Just baby steps, right? Because, frankly, I can tell you're too mean to yourself. I can tell this about you just from chat. So if you would do that for me, I would appreciate it. And you want to make me happy so I don't kill your friends on a tabletop game, right? Anyway, guys, I'm not emotionally blackmailing you into being kind to yourself. Do not tell your therapist that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. And we are going to go raid Gut Punch after the outro song plays. Thanks, everybody. And see you in 2 weeks.
Nice.